Well, good afternoon, I guess. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Live at 5 Reseller Hangout. And today we have our our guest, Carrie, with American Arbitrage. Carrie, you want to say hi to the people? Or
Hey, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Carrie, American Arbitrage. I'm at my shop right now, and we have customers, so that's why I got my mask on, so at least for the next few minutes until we're done with
yeah, it's not like he should try to be safe with me. It's not how it works. He has customers. He has customers at his shop, so he has to be safe there. But I want to say hello to everybody. So far, we got Kay here with passports and pizza pies, Twisted Pixels. I believe that's her daughter Liv. We have Ella here. We have Nikki. We have another Nikki. Seems like you guys always coming together. We have Robert and Johnny. Who else is here? Tom Cruise is in the house. Steven, the reseller. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for coming. So, Carrie, you want to introduce yourself? Tell them, guess who you are, what you do. People that don't know who you are.
Yeah, no, I'm Carrie, aka American Arbitrage. I've been doing this for about 10 years. I have my shop. I do a lot of my content. I'm on YouTube, but I do a lot of my content on TikTok. I have about 500,000. I'm about maybe 30,000 away from 500,000 followers on TikTok.
It's insane.
And then Instagram, I think it's like 26 or 7,000. So yeah, that's where I do a lot of my I'm kind of known for my short form, short content, my reels and my TikToks. But yeah, no, I do YouTube. I went to the University of Utah. I got 3 degrees, a bachelor's in Spanish, history, and political science. It's been so long, I kind of forget. I was going to be a professor, and it was the recession when I graduated. So I got into this and kind of got addicted to it. And I've had a shop pretty much the last 10 years, except for about a 2-year gap. This is my 4th shop, actually. You just, as leases change, I just move.
Shop, you mean like a store or like an email?
Yeah, like a physical store. I've had a physical store.
Oh, really?
Since I was 27. I'm 37 now. But there was a 2.5 year gap when they tripled my rent at the old place. And then I was just kind of working out of basically a workspace in my buddy's building. And then he kind of went under and we took over. So
interesting. Okay. I did not know that. I thought you just started the brick and mortar thing now.
No, I've had a brick and mortar since the end of 2011. Yeah, and then I met my girlfriend. I do a lot of stuff. I'm a live auctioneer here in Utah, so I met my girlfriend doing auctions at my auction house, and then I stopped doing that years ago, though.
Wow. Okay. So, what did you start first? Did you start a YouTube or an Instagram, TikTok? Which one of those came first?
All at the same time, actually. I started them all in, I think it was November of 2019. So yeah, I started TikTok. I did my first video, had 2 views for 2 weeks. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just started pushing stuff out. And I think like the 4th or 5th video got like 100,000 views. No idea why. It wasn't that good. And now, I mean, it's crazy. I got a video from last weekend that's at about 3 million views right now, almost at 3 million. Yeah, just it's really I think a big part of the future of social media, content creation and also consumption. They're starting shorts on YouTube, which I've had a little bit of success with. I just don't think it's going to be big in the resale market for a year or 2, but gosh, I have 1,000 videos ready to go when it's ready. So
oh, well, yeah, you can just pretty much take all your TikToks, right, and just put them right onto the YouTube thing. Pretty easier for you.
Exactly.
Hey Dana, hey Kathy, I see you guys coming in. Harry Humstone's in the house. Thank you guys all for coming. I appreciate you being here. So, why did you what was the reason for starting all these things? Why'd you start like a TikTok and a YouTube?
I was listening to Gary Vee and I got tired of listening to him tell me to do all this stuff and I wasn't doing it.
That's why I started reselling, because of Gary Vee too. So that's pretty fun.
You did? Right on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started because of American Pickers and all that stuff. Bye. Gracias. Cuídese. Yeah, I started back then because American Arbitrage should be good. I don't know if I have more people just arrived, so we'll see if they come in too. But
it's a busy day for you, man.
On right now. But yeah, no, I just started then. It was super, super popular at that time. People say it's growing right now. It was growing just as much, but there was next to no content back then. There was Redneck Picker, Rake and Profit had just started maybe a few years after that. Glendon Cameron. I mean, and I actually started a YouTube page back then. I probably got about 1,000 subscribers and quit, which was probably stupid of me.
Wow.
Yeah, back then, I got more people coming, guys.
You're a popular man today, man. That's good.
1 second. Let me see. So I'm in the middle of a live. I'm probably gonna be like live for an hour. Are you guys? Yeah. Do you want to do it and then I could pay you after? Does that work, or do you want to wait?
I can drop the cards off and you can pay me after.
Yeah, if that works. If you just want to drop them off.
Or just so for it.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I can just go to the store.
So yeah, guys, this is a first. So Carrie runs a store, guys. So this is why and today his girlfriend's supposed to be there, but she's busy studying for a test. So this is kind of like a first thing with us. But he says every time he gets a customer, he's gonna just say hi to him and tell him he's busy, and then he'll be good.
Yeah, sorry guys. I apologize. So the cool thing about having a shop is you meet people, and this is one of my guys who I've known for a little bit, and he sells me cards and stuff. So I'm getting some sports cards and stuff from him. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I've been doing this. I kind of got started just because I couldn't get a job easily after I graduated from college. I was going to go back and study to be a professor. I wanted to be a French history professor. Okay, see you later, Micah. I'll see you in a few, man. I wanted to be a professor of that, but then I just never got around to it. I actually, the first couple years I did this, I planned on going back and being a professor, but it just didn't work out that way, which I'm thankful for, honestly.
Probably a lot easier to sell action figures than write.
And it's a lot more
lectures.
Fun. So just full disclosure, initially my girlfriend was going to run the shop today for this interview, but she got
I'll let him know.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. Hello, Esteban. New name for me. Thank you for coming. Death Pile Destroyers. I love that. Name. It's a great name. Someone to destroy my Death Pile, man. Welcome. So tell me more about this brick and mortar store. So you said this one's been open for 5 weeks now, right?
Yeah, this one's been open for about 5 weeks. So what we do, if you want me, I can show you around real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Let me, I'm not sure how to change the camera around here, but well, I think I got it. 1 sec.
Yeah, you press on settings. No, you go to settings and then you click camera. Then you click on back camera.
There we go. 1 sec, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're good.
You got it? So yeah, this is my shop. What we do mostly, and what I've done pretty much the whole time I've been in business, is I've done we do a lot of furniture. We actually do free delivery all over Utah and all the way down to Las Vegas. We're a little wild with that. Dawn, my girlfriend's parents, live about an hour and a half from Vegas, so we actually deliver furniture for free. But this is some of the stuff my girlfriend creates. I believe this is already sold. We're waiting for somebody to come pick this up. This is already sold. Somebody's supposed to pick this up today, and these sell for $300, $400, $500. And then here's the rest of the store. It's a lot of decor, furniture, that kind of mix of stuff. And we've done this because Don's a pretty well-known furniture person in this area. And I just kind of throw some of my American Arbitrage stuff because there's my little symbol, and then hers, and that's kind of what we do. And I have
want to show us the outside. I saw it today on your story. I thought that was pretty cool
too. The outside. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So beautiful mountains out there.
That is pretty.
Audio is okay, guys. So 1851 is the name of my store here in Roy, Utah. But with the TikTok and everything, I have people coming in a bit for American Arbitrage, so we put that on the window as well, so people weren't confused when they came here. But this is only about 1/3 of our building. The rest of our building is storage. I'll kind of give you a glimpse. It's a mess, but there's some furniture stuff, and then the back room is my eBay stuff. So, let me switch this around. Getting used to the StreamYard. I'm sorry, guys.
All good, man. That was awesome. So it looks kind of just like a giant antique booth. That's a store.
Yeah, right? Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
I think he's pushing back to there. You think he's put it back to the back camera again? Because we don't see anything. Man. There we go. You're back now.
Yeah, I accidentally went out of it. That's what was annoying about it. I'm sorry.
All good. All right, so we got Lynn came in by we doing. Cheryl's here as well. We got Jarheads. Jarhead, you could be a guest next week, right? Jarhead's here. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming. So you said your girlfriend restores furniture. So how do you guys find that? You just
find old furniture? Really, from the 10 years I've done this, is there's more stuff than we could ever possibly want, ever possibly be able to handle. We have people, we have everything. We get free stuff off the side of the road. if we spent 1 week looking on Facebook Marketplace, we could get 100 pieces. They're so inexpensive. And doing this so long, we have a lot of connections. We have an estate sale buyout guy that gets an estate almost every week. And we pretty much have our picking. Yeah, almost every week we get our picking of all the furniture. I mean, we put together end tables and 2 giant piles of stuff last week for $80. I mean, there was $50, $60 items, 4 or 5 of them in there. Not in the furniture is like over 100 when we paint it, probably about 200. So, I mean, we have so many. I mean, connections are huge in this business, and a lot of it comes from just like I literally ran an auction. People consigned with me all over Utah, so I know most dealers. It's that helps a lot. But yeah, we get it from all over. We've delivered furniture to people, and they've given us the thing it's replacing for free.
That's awesome.
So your furniture, a lot of people don't want to deal with. So you can get it really inexpensively on Marketplace. You can find it for free all the time. And if you're creative, I mean, when we started doing furniture, we were spray painting stuff, and I was doing it too, which was a mistake because I suck at it. But my girlfriend took a lot of time, a lot of effort, got into the distressing, got into the transfers, and now has a pretty solid following. I mean, I think on TikTok she's almost at 30,000 now, and she just started like 2 months ago. So Instagram's got over 10,000 for her too. So she has a big following and locally too. So
yeah, so like what I do mainly, I do storage units. So I find a bunch of like destroyed furniture, and what I realized recently that there's a huge market for people that buy that stuff from me to restore it, like you guys. So like,
oh yeah,
I don't get much for it. I get like $20-$30 for a nightstand, $50 for a dresser, but they can go buy it for $50 and turn it into like 500 like you guys. So I definitely understand. I definitely see the market value for that stuff. I wish I was creative and I could do what you guys do, but
I wish. I mean, I'm not creative on that at all. Buying toys and buying cards and basically doing everything I did when I was 10, but just doing it for a living. Yeah. But I mean, I wasn't reselling, but I mean, I was collecting all this stuff.
Yeah, you seem to be a lot of fans here. Says people saying it's seriously awesome. Johnny said he loves all the different colors in your store, and he said,
I'm glad. Thank you, Cajun Roots Reseller. That's actually very intentional. When we had our first store together, me and my girlfriend, when I started, it was dredge. It was just a dude running a store in his late 20s. It was not super organized. My girlfriend got involved, and we got a store together. So that's why I moved from my second store to my third store to get a store together. When we first did that, the aesthetic was a little different, but every wall was bright yellow, bright turquoise, bright pink, because we wanted backgrounds for pictures, and we wanted people to come in and be super happy. But my girlfriend built the wood walls on these. The landlord loves us because we probably upped the value of this place quite a bit with all the work that mostly my girlfriend put in, because she's good with that kind of stuff. She's a welder by trade. She's in the union.
Dang.
So she's proctoring some exams today because she's been in the union for a while, but she's hopefully going to quit here next year or so.
How long does it take you guys to like find a piece of furniture and have it ready to sell? Like how long does that process take?
Well, from finding the furniture, it could take weeks because Dawn can't get around to it right away. So, But from the furniture being undone to like one of her nicer pieces, she can do that in 2 or 3 hours at this point. A simple piece she can get done in less than an hour. We're trying to invest. I mean, I don't know why we haven't. We got a sprayer in the past for the early layers of paint. She didn't like it, so we're gonna go get a nice sprayer for her. That would save her some time, but that's like her happy thing. This is what she does when she's not at work. She just hangs out with me and paints all day. That's what she loves. So
yeah, sounds like a good time.
We're just doing what we love, man. As simple as that.
Yeah. So you're saying she might like do this full time with you pretty soon? Like,
yeah,
if continues to be successful?
We could do it right now. It would be. I mean, one of the benefits to what we're doing is she has her full-time job. But I mean, at this point, I make about as much off ad revenue and stuff with TikTok and Instagram that I do on eBay. So, and she's starting to get that too with her stuff. So, I mean, we probably could swing it now, but we'd rather be a little more comfortable because we have a lot of overhead, store, all that stuff. So
no, I forgot what you said. 10 years ago, did you go full-time right away, right? Because you said you couldn't find anything else.
I went full-time. I was unemployed 10 years ago.
You were forced to do it, right?
I was working at In-N-Out when I graduated from college because I was just doing the simplest jobs I could do because I was focusing on my studies. I didn't really need the money. I was at home. So I graduated from college. I'm like, I was working at In-N-Out, and we'll say I got fired from In-N-Out because I was late to a meeting. I'm not a punctual person, and they're very punctual there, and I really didn't care. So, and I was starting to think about flipping, and I just went in full time. I was looking for another job until I went back to school to study to be a professor. I wasn't looking for anything serious. And then I just got into this, and I decided I have 3 degrees. If I'm not going to go back and be a professor, I need to do this like bigger, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. My first store was funny to look back on. I was totally in over my head. But the one thing I can say about starting a store and going for it is just do it. You learn as you go. If you hustle and you care about what you're doing and you're really into it, you'll figure it out. You really will.
Now, you're in Utah, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Utah.
Is the rent there pretty expensive for a storefront, or? No,
not that's a big plus for Utah in general. Is the stuff I find is typically inexpensive, and the rent. I'm without utilities, I'm under $2,000 a month in a 3,000 square foot building. So, and then with utilities, it's maybe like 24.
That's what
just to give you guys the details if you want.
What's what I pay for my warehouse?
Yeah,
it's just a warehouse. That's what I pay for mine.
The thing is, there is more expensive. This is my 4th building or 5th spot. I was in 2 different spots in one building, so I've negotiated before. It's better to negotiate with family ownerships rather than big groups. So like most of the places I've gotten have been like family owned stuff. They don't have a realtor. And you can typically get much better deals, at least in Utah that way. Much better leases.
Now, do you take like donations in your store as well, or do you advertise that, or no?
No, I think throughout the years I might have had a couple. I don't advertise it. That's not really the business model so much. And honestly, I don't. And I'm not like. I mean, there is what's the guy that has the big thrift store that's big here? Craigslist Hunter. I'm not big into having people bring in stuff actually, even to sell. The guy who brought stuff in today, I actually usually go get that stuff, but he wanted to come up and see the shop. But yeah, I actually don't buy a lot through the shop. Typically people overprice their stuff when they come in here, expecting to sell it at eBay prices. And I can't even get the prices they're seeing because those aren't sold listings they're looking at. They're pie in the sky listings. If you've seen if you're doing this yourself.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that before. Let's transition back to your eBay platform. The stuff that I follow you for pretty much on Instagram, I see you pretty much deal with sports cards and like action figures. Would that be pretty fair to say?
Yeah, those are my niches, my specialties. Yeah.
Now, how long have you been dealing with those for 10 years as well, or did you recently get into like sports cards or action figures?
Yeah, sports cards 31 years, but I haven't been selling them that long. So I'm 37. I got my first thing of sports cards in 90 from my brother.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I was going to the card shop like every week in the 90s, back in the golden era. And, I didn't realize I was a reseller as a kid, but I was. I used to like do garage sales by myself. I'd ask my parents if I could for money. And then my dad, when I was like 12 or 13, let me go to a card show and run a table. And I was just like, I didn't really think about it. I was just trying to make money to buy more cards. That's all I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to like make money for anything other than supporting my hobby. But yeah, so I've been in sports cards for a while. Before I was a full-time reseller in 2011 when I started, I had done a little eBay for fun with sports cards. I don't know why I did it. It wasn't really to make money. I was just having fun with it. So cards is my specialty. I know them backwards, forwards, sideways, and they're super complicated, honestly. In many, they're easy and they're complicated. You can get in the weeds really easily. I get questions almost every day on Instagram. I got 1,000 card lot today. And it's always like from the early 90s. And I'm like, oh no, you might not do too well with the early 90s stuff, unfortunately. But there's a lot of nuance, but if you're willing to learn sports cards, you can make so much money.
I can't hear you. I feel like I lost you for a second there. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm trying to reconnect. Okay, can you say something now?
I got some more people coming in, guys. So.
Okay, no problem. Started young like me. Yeah, we have a guy here called Brandon.
You guys got your masks? Yeah, we do here. Yeah. That happens all day.
You don't care about safety.
Yeah, there's not like a set rule. I have like my mom's really old, so I just always like to be careful.
Yeah, we have a guy here called Lego Man of the Midwest. He's Brandon. He's only 18 now, but he's been collecting Legos for his whole life as well. So he's kind of like you, but with Legos. So it's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've always liked Legos and toys too. I started toys probably really like 6 years ago. So not the whole time I've been reselling. I was doing a little bit of toys here and there, but for the most part, I started heavy on toys like 5 or 6 years ago. I started following some YouTubers who were into it. There was a guy named Source It Up on YouTube. He stopped doing videos, and he started doing them like 3 or 4 years ago. I was obsessed with his stuff, but you know how that happens with YouTubers sometimes? You like love their stuff and they just disappear. So I'm like, I don't know what happened to the dude, but his stuff was great. I don't even think his videos are up anymore. So.
Oh wow! It's like he deleted his whole channel. Wow.
Yeah. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, Cheryl says she constantly finds bags and bags of sports cards, but I have no clue what to look for.
Yeah, they're tough. I mean, it helps if you like sports and you have a little bit of knowledge about sports. In general, that kind of gives you, I mean, I know Philly, you probably know quite a bit of sports stuff. That helps to give you like who's a star, whose rookie might be cool and whose might not. But if you guys have any questions, let me know.
But it's difficult, like the wax era, like the 80s, 90s, to just so overproduce that even if it is a star, most likely his card isn't really worth that much if it's like a 90s card, you know?
Exactly. So, there is very few 90s cards that are worth it, but there are some super valuable 90s cards. Like 91 is one of the worst years for baseball cards in the history of sports cards. Yet there's a Desert Storm set, if you were lucky enough to find it, that's some of the most expensive cards to, especially graded out there. So there's exceptions to the rule, but it takes it's nuanced, but it's not what I would say is like I would tell a lot of people who are interested in it, start with modern stuff, try to find stuff at Target, open it, see who's good, or just even right now, like if you found basketball cards at a Walmart or Target, you could pick them up at their price and you could flip it unopened and make a profit every time right now. That could change in a month or two, but at the moment, that's the game for a lot of people, which, isn't quite as fun. But
the problem here for us is that we can't just go in the store and buy them. We have to be there before the store opens to actually get our hands on them, because there's so many resellers here that they pick them up before the store opens.
Yeah,
so
that's what
that's the only issue we have.
Like I lucked out. I have a video here on YouTube. It's my biggest video. If you guys go check it out, it's like, it's not that big, 20,000 views, but it was me. One day I bought out all of the Mosaic basketball, and people thought I was one of those guys who was waiting in the morning. I literally went on my lunch break from work and sacrificed my lunch, and I just got lucky.
And they were there.
Yeah, she was literally unloading it on my lunch break, and nobody was around. And I'm like, and it was kind of like a month or two before it got really wild. Yeah. So she was like, yeah, just take them. I don't care. I just work for MJ Holding. I don't care. Take them all. If you take whatever you want. Super, I'm nice to people in general. So, yeah, they were mad at me, I think.
Cheryl's wondering, do hockey player cards have any value?
Yes, they do. Hockey is a little more tricky than baseball, basketball, and football. But this year, that's actually one thing. I don't know what it's like in Philly. In Utah, you can find hockey cards. We don't have a hockey team. So if you were to go get the latest years of hockey and you find his name's Alexis Lafreniere, he was the #1 pick like last year. His card is like 20 to 6. So for a time, it was over $200. His Series 1 card. And people are going crazy for this basketball, but they don't realize the hockey one had a really nice card. Kind of hard to get. I opened quite a few boxes, got a couple $20 rookies, but not him. But what's his name? WB Knobloch. He has a big YouTube channel. He just got a couple of Lafreniere cards in his last box he opened. He showed me, and he's going to make money on it. But cards are tough. Toys are a little easier to get into, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it seems like right now, like NASCAR is even hot right now for cards. Jarhead said UFC, Prism UFC is hot right now. Yep. So like right now, it just like seems like you could buy any pack in the store, and most likely it's going to be somebody out there looking for something out of it.
Yeah, you could. Baseball is still pretty widely available. You're not going to make much unless you get the right player in a modern box. Prism UFC is not at retail. It's only going to be at a hobby store right now, and it's like $900,000 a box right now. Another one to look out. Prism is getting, which is like the major sports card brand, Panini. Prism's getting the license to everything. A lot of people are sleeping on Formula One that just came out about 2 weeks ago. there is a world. I mean, I'd love to get my hand
Well,
on some
yeah,
Formula One
that's
Prism.
a
Actually,
worldwide
before
sport. Yeah, that makes sense.
I love F1
Mhm.
personally myself. Me and my buddies a couple years ago decided just to kind of pick a random sport that we knew nothing about, and we just started following it hardcore. So I like F1 stuff,
That's awesome.
and there's a lot of money in it, believe it or not. Hi,
So-
welcome. How are you? Pretty good. How are you? Sorry, I'm live on a little show right now, so I might be talking while you're here.
So Jar said his dad had an entire Desert Storm set to the top sent to him directly, but so many of those cards got snagged in Kuwait. He messaged them after he got back, and they sent him a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's why
quite
that
a
set is
story.
so valuable is they only gave it to the troops in Desert Storm. They only came in complete sets. You couldn't get them like as an insert in a pack. And 91 is particularly bad. I think Chipper Jones is the only rookie worth anything, only card worth anything. And then everything else is like, and it's really horrible designs, like not cool 90s, like Saved by the Bell designs. It's very bland, just, very, very bland design.
So any value in San Jose Sharks hockey from the 90s?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Thornton was a good player for them forever. I got to remember all the players, but yeah, San Jose is a good team. So yeah, San Jose Sharks, you can find some good value in their cards. It's all about the rookies, the autographs, the jersey cards. I mean, with hockey, jersey cards actually have a little value. Every other sport, for the most part, jersey cards, the newer ones, are not valuable. Actually, a regular rookie is better than a jersey card usually.
Wow.
There's a lot of nuance to it. I could go into depth as long as you wanted, but yeah, it's a lot of nuance to sports cards.
Now, if you find sports cards like in a while, like a yard sale or whatever, flea market, how often do you buy those to resell and to keep? Do you have your own personal collection?
Yeah, I do have a personal collection. My whole personal collection is like childhood people I liked, and I have a hard time holding on to anything that has like real significant value. So it's typically, players that aren't particularly valuable. Like from when I'm a kid, my favorite player, believe it or not, didn't live anywhere near here, was Sharif Abdul-Rahim. He played for the Vancouver Grizzlies. But I like him.
He played for the Hawks too, right? Later on, I remember.
He played for the Hawks as well.
2003. Yep.
So he was really good, like a borderline all-star, 20 and 10 almost every game. Everybody overlooked him. That's what I liked about him. And so I collect his stuff because I can get it cheap, and I can get a lot. So yeah, that part's not open out there, sir. Yeah, sorry.
These headphones are frustrating.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
No, it's my every time I get a text from my phone, they disconnect from here to my phone for some reason. This is why you don't have Apple.
Yeah.
They try to make it simple for you, but it's just like I get one text and it goes straight to my phone with the headphones instead of disconnecting. But let's talk about action figures real quick. So you said you got into those 6 years ago, correct?
I'd say about 6 years ago. Yeah, I'd say about 6 years ago I got into it. Just basically YouTube. I mean, there still isn't a ton of content, or at least quality content, I think, on toys yet, which, I mean, it's probably where I'm going to end up taking a lot of my YouTube is toys and sports card centric. There's so much content out there that I probably should just focus on what I know really well. But yeah, about 6 years ago.
Now, is wrestling pretty much what you focus on?
Oh, no, I got a big wrestling lot today, but I'd say if I could choose anything, it'd be probably like Ninja Turtle stuff, even though that's not super valuable. He-Man 80s stuff would be my favorite to find.
Now for those of us like I don't really deal with action figures. If I go to a yard sale and I see them selling, should I just buy all of them or just something I should be looking for?
Yeah, it's all about the price. Like I also like to look at things as like an educational cost. If you're getting a whole box of toys for $10 and you see action figures, so you know the difference between like a McDonald's figure and an actual action figure. If you're seeing an action figure and it's a lot of them and it's really inexpensive, or they're a quarter or 50 cents a piece, I would pick them up. Google Lens is your best friend. Just take a picture, Google Lens it. It'll tell you who it is. That saves so much time. And then typically on the worst case scenario, it's $4 or $5. You'll make a dollar or two. And best case scenario, you could be sitting on hundreds of dollars worth of toys. And I got more people coming in, guys. Sorry. It's a wild day. We're usually not this busy.
You're popular today, man. That's awesome.
So yeah, sorry guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm on a live thing, so if I'm talking and being annoying, just so you know.
Brandon said that his grandpa had 1920s baseball cards when he was young, but his mom threw them out.
That's a big reason why the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s cards are worth so much, because everybody – I always say if something's made to be collectible, like Avon, stuff like that, it never really is because they produced it and overproduced it. But the things that people don't think are going to be collectible and get thrown away, or like, I think that's why vintage Pokemon's so hot. Kids played it. They beat up the cards. Their parents threw them away because nobody was putting them in binders like the cards in the 90s. That's why they're so valuable. That's why you can, a Charizard that's not super rare, a high graded PSA 10s. I don't know what it's at, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 now.
Money. Yeah.
A lot of money.
Johnny said he bought a box seal of Desert Storm for $1, sold them for $49 in his antique booth.
Dude, that's awesome. So Desert Storm's different. There is a Desert Storm set that's like generals and stuff like that. That stuff, one sec, guys. Sorry.
No problem. While he's gone, let me say hello to everybody else that came in. We have Janet is here. We have Chris that is here. I said everybody said hello to Brandon already.
I got my back door open, so I didn't want people to go into my back room, so I just went and closed it.
That makes sense.
But sorry, I was interrupting you there.
No, you're fine. I was just saying hi to everybody else that came in while you were there.
So like Desert Storm, the one with the general and stuff, those cards are worth not much. But there is a top set. I wish I had a picture in front of me. That's just the regular 91 design, but there's like a little palm tree and stuff. It says Desert Storm, I think, on it. It's like a embossed card or something. Those are super valuable. I've never seen one out in the wild in 30 plus years, but it's not impossible to find them. You're typically going to find them in like a complete set, and those are worth a bit.
Okay. Now, where do you do most of your sourcing from? Do you have yard sales all year round, or do you go to like Savers? I see you.
I wish, dude. Yeah, we have it here in Utah. It's pretty seasonal, like I would imagine Philly. I don't know if you guys get snow out there, but
yeah, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same. We're just barely getting into the garage sale season, so maybe 6 months if we're lucky for that. Then the rest of the time it's thrift stores, and I don't like estate sales. I go to buyout, so I go where people actually. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. I was like, what's going on?
Making sure nobody's walking out with your stuff.
No, somebody's coming in. I was like, wonder what's going on. If you guys have questions, let me know. I'm on like a live thing, so sorry if it's annoying. Oh, you are? Cool. Let me move that for you. Sorry, guys. One sec.
Wanted to pop in and say hi to Paul. Hey, what's up, Paul? And Veronica's here as well. You've probably been here for a while, Veronica. I'm sorry if I missed you. If anybody else is here that I missed, make sure you guys say hi again so I can see you. But I appreciate you guys all coming to this live. This is Kerry. I'm making Arbitrage. He has his own brick and mortar store, and his girlfriend was supposed to be there to help him run it today, but she got taken care of by something else. So he actually running the store while doing the interview at the same time. So it's kind of pretty impressive. And there's Marcy as well. What's up, Marcy?
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I got my buddy helping move out some furniture.
Well, there you go. So since there's garages are seasonal, is Savers what you mainly go to?
Yeah, Savers and the DI. Here in Utah, it's like a big regional thrift store, DI. DI and Savers are my go-to. We're lucky here in where I'm at. There's a Goodwill, Savers, and Deseret Industry, DI. All like pretty much in the same basic complex, like 1 minute away from each other. I usually skip the Goodwill. I'm pretty spoiled here because the Goodwill is like the third best by a ton, like way back in the back.
We don't have DI here, and we don't have Savers here. So all I have with thrift stores is Goodwill.
So is Goodwill your go-to?
Unfortunately, if I'm going to go to thrift stores, it is my go-to, but I try to avoid it as much as I can.
I will say this: when I'm in California, like SoCal, Goodwill's my go-to because we don't have. Most of the cities don't have DI, and Savers is like I think only a few. So yeah, when there's no Savers or Goodwill DI, Goodwill's my place.
Now, how are prices there for Goodwill?
Goodwill this is the thing with Goodwill. It's priced similar to the other ones here in Utah, and Utah's fairly inexpensive. The problem is, first off, a lot of people are donating historically to the DI, Mormon-run thrift store. Everybody's Mormon here in Utah.
Okay.
Right now, Savers is getting a lot of that traffic because the DI is doing appointment only in my area. So they're losing a lot of their donations. So in normal times, the DI gets everything they rule. Right now, Savers is getting a lot of that. And Goodwill, like nobody donates it. So that's the main problem. They don't have stuff.
Okay. So, see, our problem is they have a lot of stuff, but the good stuff they put on Goodwill online, and then the bad stuff they put inside the store, and then they overprice it in the store. So, so that's the
that makes
problem
sense. Like
we have here.
Goodwill, I actually really respect their business model. I mean, it's counterintuitive because we don't want that to happen, but I think more thrift stores would be better served if they were doing online auctions, doing blue boxes, all that stuff they're doing. Yes, sir.
Can I come back and use that 25?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How would you guys just
Yep. Yeah, so you have like that little thing like that my girlfriend sent you, like that said 25. You can just show us that whenever. Yeah,
Okay.
we're not going to have you marked down as having spent it, so you're fine. Yeah, I'll remember too. I'm the one always here, so
Okay, perfect. Thank
yeah,
you.
you're welcome. No problem.
So you,
Sorry, guys.
you were talking about respecting the Goodwill model, which we all hate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I like the fact that they overprice stuff. I've always, I don't know, a lot of us probably do this. I've always spent a lot of time thinking about if I ran a Goodwill or a DI or a Savers, how I would do it.
Yes.
Because you have to be careful, like not to give stuff away because they got to make money, but also you can't overprice the stuff or then nobody's going to buy it, which doesn't seem to make sense unless you're in like the Goodwill, right? And you actually can put stuff online, which most thrift stores aren't doing in general.
Yes. I heard about those Goodwill boxes, but I actually never got a chance to buy one because they always sell out super quickly. But I've never actually seen the store, like their online website. I've actually never seen it.
Yeah, I get a lot of my stuff because, like, on TikTok, if you guys ever check out my TikTok, I'm sponsored by like We Bargain, who does boxes. So I get most of my liquidation stuff from them. Like, I get a box every week, and so I mean, there's a lot. If I was in a bigger city where there's more competition and less pricing, I would probably have to rely on that kind of stuff more. Liquidation pallets, blue boxes. Online flipping, I literally buy lots of cards almost all the time on eBay, get them delivered to me, and then flip them because people don't realize that one card is worth money, basically.
So do you like just buy random lots, or do you actually like look through all the cards and online?
So a lot of times, what people are like, they're going to be like, "This is they don't know what they have." It's just like a thrift store or a yard sale. You know, sometimes people just don't know what they have, right? That's why you can get a good deal. Play that arbitrage and put it on a place where you'll get the proper price. With eBay, there's so many cards that people know exactly what they have, but there's other lots where people don't realize, oh, that's actually like a rookie card. They don't realize it's a rookie card, or they don't realize that shiny card is numbered because they didn't turn it over. So there's a lot of that slips through, and toys are great too with that. Like, they'll be like, I got a bunch of wrestling figures, and that's how they post it. A bunch of wrestling figures. It's a horrible listing. And they don't realize, oh, that one figure right there is worth $30. They're asking $30 for 15 figures or something realistic. And then you can make your money back on like 2 or 3 figures, and the rest is profit. You can do that, like, legit. It's totally possible. The more you learn about it, you can do that with anything. Jewelry. My mom started eBay with me back in the day. She used to buy jewelry lots, and they were tangled jewelry lots, and she'd untangle them and fix them and then resell them.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
A lot of hustles out there, man.
So Holly says she's seen you on TikTok. And she's one of the first people she followed. There you go.
Oh, cool. Right on. Thank you.
That's
Appreciate
pretty
it,
awesome. So your TikTok now is what you said, almost 500,000.
Yeah.
Now it took you what, 3 years, right? Almost 3 years now.
No, I've been on TikTok for a year and a half.
Oh, really? That's it.
Yeah.
Now,
TikTok's wild. Like, I'll tell you this: the last week on TikTok, I went up like 35,000 followers just in the last week, and it tends to happen. And I had one day that was 14,000. That's how TikTok works. You get a hit, and the interesting thing about TikTok is it's based on not people going and searching you out like YouTube or searching out a topic. It's based on what people are actually watching. So for whatever reason, certain videos I've done get watch time, and then TikTok just feeds it out to a mass amount of people if it's getting the results it wants. And then they just follow you. It's crazy. Like, and there's times where, I've had more than 10,000 follower days several times on TikTok.
That's crazy.
It's weird, but it's cool.
Wondering, Google provides a large percentage of your sourcing. She's trying to find other places. So pretty much you kind of got into it, but I interrupted you from it. Like those online boxes, You said if you live like in an area that didn't have any thrift stores, how would you source?
Yeah, with the online boxes, just look around. I mean, I work sponsored, guys. They pay me and give me free boxes. I work with We Bargain. That's an option. You don't have to do them. There's liquidation.com. There's bulk.com. There's Goodwill Blue Boxes. I've heard great things about. Also, if I was like in California, I would be hustling the flea market swap meets and garage sales. Like a lot of the people I know in this business, like Pure Hustle Podcast, they're going out to garage sales in San Diego, which is, I've thrifted out there. It's expensive. But they're going to the yard sales and they're finding stuff. So,
Wow.
And also there's stuff in your area that's going to be unique and profitable that you can't find anywhere else. I mean, Philly's a good example. You guys got so many sports teams that are worldwide popular, or at least nationwide popular. Utah, some obvious stuff is like, for example, it's a big Mormon community, but if you're outside of Utah and you want like certain books that are Mormon books or certain collectibles, I have so much here, nobody wants them, but somebody in New York might want one. So there's a big market. I just sold like a Book of Mormon action figure, which is kind of funny, for like $20. I got it for like a quarter.
Of what?
Yeah, the Book of Mormon is like, so like full disclosure, like I grew up in Mormon. I'm not really Mormon. I don't really follow the church. I have disagreements with it now. But as a kid, I went on a mission. I went to Mexico, lived there for 2 years. That's why I speak Spanish and learned Spanish and everything. So that's just part of our culture. So like there's so much, books and history on it here and weird toys that they make for people, and then
wow.
some random person wants it in Argentina or something that's like a Mormon, and we send it out to them.
That's crazy.
It is. It's just, but every place has that. I mean, if you're in South Dakota, you got like, Mount Rushmore stuff. If you're in Philly, you got all the sports teams, you got Liberty Bell stuff, you got whatever, you guys are basically famous for as a city.
Yeah, that makes sense, because a lot of times like I find like Philly stuff in storage units, and a lot of times I think, oh, this is worthless because there's so many here, but then I don't realize that there's so many Eagles fans all over the country that would love to get that jersey that we have like a million of here. So that's definitely a good point.
It's true.
So out of your, we're kind of jumping back and forth here, but out of your TikTok followers, how do you get paid on TikTok besides
several
sponsorships?
ways. Yeah. So when I was building my TikTok a year and a half ago, there was maybe 4 of us that did this kind of content, and mine kind of jumped up, within about 6 months to be like the bigger one, right? So I had no idea. The only thing I knew about business from having been in business, that if you build a platform, opportunities come. I didn't really know how though. So what happened was I built a platform like well over 100,000, and then TikTok came out with their creator fund, which means it's basically AdSense. So I get paid for and I thought, okay, that's how I'm going to make money. And I do make money on it. But that's not the big thing. Now that I've developed a pretty big following, I have sponsors, I have deals, advertisement deals that pay me, that pay for this building and then some, we'll put it that way, just on the advertisement deals, not counting YouTube money, TikTok money, like for that they pay me directly. It's a land grab on TikTok right now. If you're a content creator and you're interested in this kind of stuff, if you can figure out the short form format, there is a huge demand. There was a huge demand when I started, and there was no content. Now there's more content, but still, for the right, well done content, there's a huge demand.
Now, how short can a TikTok video be? Was it like 1 minute? Or is it
video could be 7 seconds, 6 seconds. But I mean, a common video for me is probably
what's the max? What's the max it can be? What's the max it can be? A minute?
So they just started. I'm in the early, because I have a decent following. They just released it to me early. You could do 3-minute videos. I just did my first one today. But TikTok is not really a platform that's going to probably do that. It's going to take a while, if ever, for that to hold on. But a minute is the typical long. And realistically, for virality, you want like 17 seconds or less.
Wow.
But there's a lot of nuance to it that people a lot of times that I notice go on TikTok and try to do a YouTube video. And I did that at first too. And I take a lot of the stuff that I've learned from YouTube videos and put it in, but it's all about keeping people's attention, movements, like I'm grabbing something, showing it, turning it, talking, voiceover. It's all you got to keep people interested, because TikTok is built as an addiction thing. Like I'm going to swipe.
Yeah, definitely.
So you got to figure out how to keep people interested. And thankfully what we do is fairly interesting to I have a lot of people who follow me who aren't even interested in doing this. They just
really?
like to see the treasure hunting.
So is that what you recommend for us to do? Like just go like say I bought this at a yard sale for this much, it sells for this much, and video.
Pretty
Like,
much, yeah.
That's pretty much like a
the
success.
video that's at about 3 million that I did last week is, everybody knows this. It's been in this community for a while. It's stay away from Avon cologne bottles. I'm like, I found good success when I tell people to stay away from stuff. And I'm not saying as a collector, but you kind of have to be vague with that because you want debate in the comments for them to say, no, I'm a collector. And I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm like, stay away from cologne bottles. They made a ton of them. They're not really worth anything. Save your money, buy better stuff. That's like the video. And the whole time I'm showing cologne bottles in my hands.
Now, what do you think the future like Avon Beanie Baby craze is? I think it's these guys right here. I don't know if you can see them.
Most people think it's Funko. Yeah. I think Funko is for the majority of them is going to be that. But I think the rare Funko market, the chase, the vaulted market is actually going to probably grow.
Yeah.
But 90% of it's going to be like one of those things like sports cards. A lot of people investing are going to lose money because they don't know which ones to buy. But because I have a ton of commons I really can't get rid of, or the other shoulder there, or whatever I'm doing. There we go. But
it's really hard on this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so it's mind
backwards. Yeah.
But yeah. So you know how it is, but I think I like what Funko's doing in a lot of ways. But in other ways, they're oversaturating their own market.
I'm sorry to hear that, Holly. She has a bunch of Avon perfume bottles. Yeah.
A lot of people collect them. There's there's an overabundance of them, and very few collectors. And then collectors who do like them are probably spoiled in the sense that they don't have to pay much for them when they find them. So you're not going to get top dollar. The only thing I've ever seen sell is the complete chess set, and they don't even sell that well. And the chances, I don't know why anybody would want to put together a 32-piece chess set or whatever it is, ship it, which is terrible. You're not getting it for free. So, and maybe make $100 if you're lucky after 3 years. It's just, and that's the best case scenario item to find.
Yeah. So what I like about you is that when you show your sales, you're okay with selling something and making like $6 profit or $7 profit.
Sure.
A lot of people out there like, oh, I'm not touching it unless I make $30 on it or like $40 on it. What's the lowest ROI you're willing to take?
$1.
$1?
Now that
really?
seems, yeah, seriously. And the reason is, and it's only with specific things, I'm buying collections of cards. It doesn't make sense to me to spend, $100 on a 5,000 count box of cards, right? And then I'm going to make that $100 back on the few $50 cards I find and everything, right? So I'm going to make that money back right away. But I have $200 to $3 cards that will sell. It just doesn't make sense. I don't spend a ton of time on that, but it's something I'm constantly working on. I'm like, why not sell those? And I do a lot of things, actually. I'll send some of that stuff into Star Stock, ComC, like places that hold it for you and charge you a fee, and you sell it on their website. So, but I have sold stuff. I like cards, though. I enjoy them. I want people to get
if you go to like Savers and you find a toy for like $5, what does the toy have to sell for you to buy it?
Okay, so that's different. So if I'm buying a singular item, it's a $5 toy. And I'm a little bit extreme on this, like probably at least 15. But if it was a toy I liked, I'd do like 12 if I thought it was cool. So that's kind of silly, right? Like,
no, because I'm the same way as you, but then I watch all these videos and I think I'm the crazy one that I'm okay with making $6 on something because they make me think like, oh, it has to be always $20 for me to buy it.
Yeah. Are you full time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to me as full time. I've yet to meet a reseller who effectively uses every moment of their time as working. So until I'm shipping 50, 60 items a day and I just am going crazy and can't handle it, right? I don't see any reason not to pick up a $5 bill, a $6 bill, an $8 bill, along with the big ticket items. Instead of why leave the money sitting there? If it's a DVD VHS player and you're going to make $12 profit, no, because that's a pain in the butt to ship. Yeah. But a toy, you put in a bubble mailer, a card, you put in an envelope or a bubble mailer, takes you a minute to do. It doesn't make any sense to pass up.
Yeah, that's exactly how it. Especially if, like you said, it's something easy, like a DVD or a video game. It takes you maybe 10 seconds to list it, and then you put it away, and then you takes 10 seconds to ship. Like,
it's also stuff you can. Paul, it's also stuff you can find every day.
Yeah,
you can't. Everybody's always showing the big hits and everything, but you can't find that stuff every day. So some days you're going to find, you're going to make your $100 thrift in that day, but you're going to find, 10 things to make that $100.
Exactly.
Instead of the day that you find the one item for $2 that's worth 300, which happens too. It's a mixed bag.
We got some people throwing some hate at your Avon. Since I had
good.
2 Avon cologne bottles, they were free. Nikki says she made money on Avon stuff. No short of vintage Avon in Ohio. Then Nancy said she managed to sell Avon on her live sales. The only item I know the heck of back to those perfume pins they made for kids in the 70s. Mostly animals that they have to flip up.
I think any hot take worth taking is should get some flack back from people. I'm fine with that. As far as like having Avon bottles in a store like mine, and say you got a box for free or $5 or $10, and you got 100 of them, I might not pass that up, fill up a shelf, and sell them at $1 or $2 a piece. So there's exceptions to rules, but in general, most people doing this are, have a limited amount of storage. They there's no need to be, if you're spending, like I showed in my video, $5 on the Avon bottle. I want it's a hot take, but at the same time, I don't want people buying that and then getting disappointed that they're not selling stuff and having money in something that's not likely to make them any. But there's always exceptions. Sometimes people buy something because they like that Avon bottle looks like a horse, not necessarily because it's Avon. They just like horses. So occasionally you'll get that.
Definitely understand. So when you go full-time, you just protect on what you buy. Trust me. Definitely. I definitely get that.
Sure does.
Yeah. So if people are part-time, what do you think their ROI should be for items you're looking for? Because you said full-time is different. What the part-time ROI should be?
I'm not a big believer in set rules like that, to be honest with you. A lot of people, want to be. That would have been a hot take. Like they're a little bit guru about it. They're a little bit guru about it, and I don't think they're not.
I'm cool with hot takes.
I don't want it to come off as a negative against people, but I don't think you have to have a rule if you don't want to have a rule. If you're cool with making a $3 profit, you find 10 items for $0.25 a piece, you're making 3 a piece. If you're cool with that and you can handle it, do it. Do it. It's money, it's profit. You have to come up with that. Now, if you're at the point where you're shipping so much of that small stuff, you don't have time and you're missing time with your family, then cut it out and then work on higher end stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't really think you have to have a set rule. Everybody's different. The key is also, to me, there's a certain value mentally to having sales every day. So sometimes those $5 sales aren't super exciting, but they pump you up to post because you just had 3 sales in a row. They're $5, $6, $8. Not big money, but you're like, man, I'm selling. I got the juices flowing. Let me go through this death pile right here. So there is some mental, force that comes behind that as well.
I definitely get that. And then you think also, does that help with the eBay algorithm at all, you think, or no?
I think so. It's your listing
consistently. Your store. Yeah.
And also you're selling consistently. I mean, nobody really knows Cassini, knows the algorithm, but I mean, I can't help but notice.
Is that the name of it? Cassini?
Yeah, that's the name of it. Yeah.
Oh, I never heard that before in my life. Okay.
Yeah, that's the colloquial name. I don't know if that's their technical name or just like what people named it, but yeah. So nobody really knows it, but I can't help but notice every time I list, I do better. And when I take offers and I sell stuff, typically sales come in bunches. I've noticed. I put best offer on everything too.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Yep.
And if I mess up, I'll eat it immediately. If I paid $5 for an item that's worth $4, I'll post it for $4 and lose money that day. Get my money back, spend my $4 and hopefully get something better.
So you're okay with taking a loss?
No, that there's a beauty in the sunk cost. I mean, I could talk business all day, but there's a beauty in the sunk cost principle. Say, especially when you're starting, you're buying a lot of stuff that might not move, right? So you spend $20 on an item. It's actually worth 10, but it sells at 10. You're trying to get 30 because you're living in a cloud, right? You're hoping for a miracle, which could happen, but probably won't. You're better off eating the loss, taking that $10 and using that $10 and hopefully what you've learned over the last couple of weeks or months, spending that $10 and finding that $40 item or finding 4 items that'll make you 40. Because that $20 item is never getting you 30. I love that concept.
That is so, people never think like that. That is such a good way of thinking it. People will hold on to that money and just hoping to break even. They'll have it in their store forever, just hoping somebody buys it. Nobody actually thinks about, wait, I can just sell this for $5 and then use the knowledge I have, turn that $5 into $40 instead of making my money back on it. Yeah, that's so awesome.
And especially that happens more when you're new, but it happens with me being 10 years in. I'm like, and sometimes with cards, because I love cards. So occasionally I'm just like,
what are you doing,
Yeah, I
Louis?
should've,
You're a little early.
Well, hey,
Hey,
I
what's
didn't
up?
know I was on live. I'm
This is
looking up on
the guy found you. You said you want to show him a shirt, Louis?
No, actually, no, I didn't know. He was mentioned in the Book of Mormon, and I said, Paul was on live with me. Hi, I'm Louis, by the way.
Hey, Louis.
Is it Gary or Carrie?
Carrie.
Okay, I don't have my glasses. That's another story. But this morning I was showing some shirts to this big lug right here, and I don't think he was paying attention because I said, this is a good one. You can sell this. And that was the Book of Mormon. And it was a white shirt with a black tie on it. And, right there, people look for that kind of stuff.
There are people spend money on religious stuff, whether it's Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Book of Mormon. It sells. People are adamant about their religions.
It's more of an art thing because it's like this is a theatrical thing that's in Broadway.
Oh, the Broadway musical, yes.
Yeah, that's the Broadway. Yeah, the Broadway musical stuff. Yeah.
Carrie, before I let you go, you want to have anything you want to promote to the people before this guy takes over?
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Sorry.
Promote your channel.
TikTok channel. So guys, sorry.
Your girlfriend would be probably really good because I would love to follow that.
Yeah. So my girlfriend is 1851 AD, like the year, and she's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and she's not on YouTube or anything.
Why is it 1851?
Okay, I came up with that name. I was a history major. Sorry, we had some people come in. I was a history major, and 1851 was the year they had a big exhibition in England where they built a crystal palace with Prince Albert and Queen Victoria. So, we're a couple. I thought of that, and I love history. And I was just thinking we're bringing stuff from all over the world to sell. So that's what I thought of. So.
Does it say Peyton and Junkin on your Facebook?
Yes, it does say Peyton and Junkin. Yeah, that's her logo.
All right, guys, I just put the link to their Facebook on the chat if you guys want to follow them.
Yeah, check it out. She's super active on there and loves to do it. And then I'm American Arbitrage everywhere. Gosh, I'm on technically Facebook, but I don't use it. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Pinterest. I'm everywhere. Yeah. Same name everywhere.
I figure Carrie goes live mainly on TikTok and Instagram, right? That's if you want to.
Usually I go live. I don't have much luck with. I use my phone for everything because I'm just a creature of habit. So YouTube's kind of tricky on the phone sometimes. I don't have StreamYard. Yeah. I need to actually get my setup done correctly for going live on YouTube because the community is fun here.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
What was your expertise in history? What was your topic of focus?
I wanted to do French history, like turn of the century, last century. But what I did, like my capstone, I actually did like a history presentation after I graduated, like as a graduate or whatever. And it was on Veracruz because I lived in Veracruz for 2 years in Mexico. So it was on World War I and the embargo they did on Veracruz and military history stuff. But I love for weirdly, every historian, every person who's into history has a weird era. I like the 1870s to like World War I. I like the beginning of the modern world that we're in now. Kind of like when TV just started or movies just started when, we went from the industrial age to where the cars were being made. For whatever reason, that's always fascinated me.
No, that's definitely a cool era to focus on for sure.
Yeah, so that's what I was wanting to do.
Culture can still identify with it too. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Reseller nature, it's good money.
You're right. Yeah. And I love anything like I can find from that era as far as to flip. But obviously that's here in Utah, it's a little tougher than the East Coast.
I think a lot of it has to do with from a psychological perspective is that from a reseller's, niche on those type of subject matters, we have the advantage because a lot of that, I guess the relatives of people of that era and some of them that are still alive, they seek that information, but it's like a yearbook. You don't want to go back more than, a generation because after that, most of those people are not looking for those yearbooks. You know what I mean?
That's true. Those people aren't around. They're not looking for their grandparents' yearbooks.
Who's going to want this? Who's my audience? Yep. It's kind of weird. Otherwise, it's a long tail thing and somebody will like it, but,
Yeah, I buy that kind of stuff, though, the long tail vintage, like really old historical stuff. If I can get it cheap and I like it myself, I don't even care if this sells, I'll keep it. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we all, I think all resellers have that issue. It's like, look at these, I've never seen this before. And it's like, I don't, and then you got this death pile from hell after that. And it's like, you got to categorize after.
I have a death room. I have a whole room filled with stuff I need to go through. No joke.
Paul says I have a cemetery. I don't have a death pile. I have a cemetery.
Yeah.
It's long dead and gone.
Yeah.
I
Carrie.
man. I gotta go,
appreciate
guys.
you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Next time I'll talk longer. I'm sorry, guys.
All good, Carrie. All right, have a good one.
Take care, guys. Bye.
All right. So, Louis, people warned me about inviting you onto the show. And they said I'm not going to get a word in. But look, I have an idea. Are you ready for this? Boom. It's your show now. So.
Hello,
So now if everybody clicks on the show, they're like, why is this guy talking all the time? It's actually your show.
No cowbell. Chilled out. I just got back from sourcing, so my endorphins are kind of like still, in that like happy space. So what's going on, man? That looks like you had a good interview there. That's a great guy. Yeah. He's full of knowledge.
Yeah, like every time I kept talking to him, I'm like, this guy would be good on Mindful Merchants. That's all I kept thinking every time I was talking to him. So if you want to get in touch with him, I'm sure he'll probably come on and drop a couple of things into. And he's West Coast or Mountain Time, whatever. So he's with you guys. I forgot to do a show and tell of him, so maybe we could probably start with you after you introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, what you do, why you do it. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You're talking about Mindful Merchants? I just had somebody knock on my door, so they totally.
No. You as a channel. Who is Louis? Who is the Lone Star Picker?
Oh, I hate those. Don't put me out big. Come on, take me. This is terrible.
It's your show, man. Come on, you gotta be big.
That's an interesting question because like when I started this almost a year ago, I would say, I really had no desire to like put myself forth as a content creator. I didn't really want to kind of go on and tell stories and stuff, but I did find the whole reseller connection like really of great interest. And so I would say probably first and foremost, I've always had that passion as a reseller. I love, I like what I do, and so once I found there's all these connections within connections, just talking to people in lives, then you realize those people, are in the same boat. There's big fish, small fish, there's all kinds of folks. So it's like, I have a voice, I have a story, and that's really, I think, the key component of being a content creator, not just on YouTube, but like on Instagram. As far as content creation goes, there's that aspect, and like, what is it you have to say, this and that. And for me, like Instagram is like one of the greatest marketing tools, aside from, I love hearing the success stories for TikTok. That blows me away. So I've invited somebody like on Mindful Merchants once. Luis and I had this one young guy, and that guy.
The Pokemon guy, the Pokemon TikTok guy. Yeah, I watched that one. That was pretty good.
Well, that he's like this certain generation, and he figured it out. It was like, why go out and source when people can do it? And he's doing it through TikTok, and people don't think of that. They think of, I'm going to be a content creator, and long story short, I'm going to, make money and this and that, and that's great if you can figure out those algorithms and whatnot. But I'm just me. I'm just another reseller. I don't feel like I'm any type of big fish.
Very humble and quiet today. This is a different Louis.
No, this is really who I am. I will. If you ask me questions, I'll give you my point of view, perspective. But, dude, it's like it really is. It's about. I just think it's just we're all doing this for the same reasons, to some extent. It's like we're all in it to make money, And if anybody says I see a lot of resellers on the content creation aspect of it. And are they more interested in making content creation, or are they more interested in reselling, or and so I don't think that's a fair question to ask and say which one of those are no, because somebody may be more 60% of I got to focus on this stuff. We all know, like, if you're going to come here and play the game to be like a content creator, or you're going to either invest more time in one thing or the other. Do you have time to spend all day on lives and this and that and making this beautiful content for somebody to watch, whether it's a new reseller, old seasoned guys like, us, or somebody that stumbles on just enjoys watching it, which is kind of funny. I met a couple people like that. I'm like, why do you want to watch me? I don't get it, but they're really cool, sincere people.
I ask that question all the time, Lou.
No, give me your perspective, Paul, because I think
about why they want to watch me. I'm like, why are you guys here?
You got to ask. Because if you're here to do something, why are you doing it? So that goes without, you can't fail the question. Say, what's my intention for being here?
Yeah. So speaking of making money, Veronica said she made 3 sales since she got on the show. So look at that. Well, congrats to you, Veronica. That's pretty awesome. This is why we're here. 3 sales in an hour is very good.
There's a guy named Duncan. He's a Duncan. Is it VR? I can't remember, but he always comes in a lot of the chat. He's from Australia, and him and I, we have this inside joke. As soon as he pops onto a live, he goes, "Thanks, Louis. I just got 5 sales." And ching, 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 ching. He literally does. And so, but
4 now, Veronica. What are you doing?
Hey, Paul, let's do it. Let's roll. Let's have a bet. I like a good bet. How many sales do you think she'll make by the time you're done interviewing? I say 6.
6.
She's got what, 4 right now?
Yeah. I still have you for 55 minutes.
I'm 6. I thought you were only gonna have me for 15 minutes and then kick me off. I guess I'm here.
No, it's an hour for each guy, man. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like 6 can definitely be possible. That's awesome.
I'm kind of conservative. I think if you want to roll the dice, say 7. You're gonna get 7.
The pressure. Yeah. Okay. So I'll say over 6. Okay. Let's just do it just for fun. I believe in you, Veronica.
I'm saying 6, so that way, if it's 5, I'll go. See, I got close. Closer than your 7, because that's over 6.
Veronica, send me your eBay store. I'll buy something from you. She said she was listening and listening. Well, that's how you do it. If you watch and you list, and bring you their luck. Jarhead said that Asian
she
buffet
was a great
reseller.
Interview was that last week? Yeah, pizza pie and pineapples.
Pizza pie and pineapples. Passports and pizza pies.
I'm just teasing.
Passports and pizza pies was 2 weeks ago. Last week we had Drew Profit Monsters and Katie Reeds.
Oh, Katie, that's right. How could I forget? Yeah.
Now I've been really blessed with good people to interview. Everybody's good besides you so far. So you're the only one I'm worried about.
So far.
Right.
I still have 50 minutes, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Give me a chance.
So Asian
don't
buffet reseller, right? That's the guy you had. That's his name. That guy. Yep.
Yeah.
There he is. Yeah. So
thanks for remembering. You guys are great.
Treasure hunter.
How's everybody in the chat? What's going on?
First puzzles with Leroy, now pineapples with Louis.
Was it Leroy said puzzles?
Yeah. And then Tommy Bernard said it was pizza pies and sore eyes. That's what he called the channel. So it's really hard to remember anyway. You want to start with our show and tell so I don't forget, like I forgot with Carrie?
Oh,
do you have anything that
sure,
you want to show that you got today?
Let me give you a little segue. So I dabble in everything. My expertise, I'm a reseller. I'm out of Austin, Texas. I am the Lone Star Picker. Some jokingly call me Lone Star Louis. I like to hunt T-shirts and attire. I've always done vintage all my life, but one of the other things I like to focus on is books and ephemera and stuff. And it's funny because I actually had a local reseller. Actually, was a guy we interviewed, and he's a local guy with me. He called me up, hooked me up with a deal. He's like, Louis. And I'm driving on the road. I'm like, what's going on? And they're the resale brothers. So you never know when you're getting a phone call, which brother am I talking to? But luckily I have both their phone numbers. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, I got a deal. Do you do consignment? And I was like, what do you mean consignment? So I sell books. This is why I have a high respect for Katie Reed. She gets it. She knows it. There's a deeper game with the book game. So anytime I have a chance to stop at a specific type of bookstore, I can see that stuff that, this is going to sell. It's like Carrie before us, he's like, you can find that one rare thing. And he's like, he doesn't mind long tail. I don't mind long tail with books. I'm starting to get that way with T-shirts, and I'm getting back to my game where I'm staying off that kind of snobbery of like he was saying, I don't mind selling something for $7 or $8, and I have no problem with that. But it's got to be a fast return. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
my sell-through rate, I have a little more of a demand than I would say my threshold is. My threshold, I prefer the 2025 on up, to $100. Who doesn't? But like, if I can sell me like 40 things that are $8, within a 2 or 3 month, ratio, and they sell fast, let it go. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But what I'm learning is, sorry about that.
Are you okay
I
with me
wanted
putting
to
you
knock
big
at the
screen
door. I
now?
hope it wasn't an emergency, but it was like one of those boom, 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 boom. And
So
I went today. I went to so I've had this talk with. Oh God, I hate this big screen thing. So
well, you're about
I
to
had a
start telling
talk
something,
with
then you
you
start
about-
talking again.
Let me just show you some stuff I got. You know what this is?
That looks like it's Chris Cornell.
Yeah. So I found these.
Nailed it.
I found they had like 20 or 30 of them. I'm like, whatever, and I've seen them, and they're starting to dwindle down. They threw them on like a clearance rack. So like, and this is a special place I go to. I don't like half the stuff they have in there. It's stuff that I can find in other places. So where my return on investment's a little bit better. So my cost of goods are cheaper to some extent if I can do the bundle. But like these, I'll go in. The only reason I got this was this is the only one on a black shirt with purple that I found. They had mostly, I think it was red, which really looked good. I like the red on it. But this was like the only one with purple. So I had to get it because I looked everywhere, like eBay, some other like Depop, Grail. Nobody had the purple one. So I was like,
Oh, okay.
rule number 1, go for rarities and stuff. Go ahead, Paul. You're going to ask.
No, I like how you. That's a cool one. Slayer.
Gotta
That
get
is dope.
Slayer. This is now. Let me tell you something. It's not a repop, but it is a very new. It's like new old stock. So it's one of those you would get. Remember back in the mall and stuff like that. But look at the crazy graphics on it. There is no back hit. This is a front hit, but this will sell to any Slayer or any metalhead. Like this right here, I'll probably stand to make. I'm not going to talk about how much. Don't ask me like how much I'm spending on these. I don't think it's fair, but I will make probably about like a $30 profit, $20 to $30 profit.
There you go.
So
That's awesome.
if something like this stands the test of time, you got to be like wicked minded. Like, are you up on culture? Do you like pop culture? I liked how you guys were admitting and talking about like with the Funko Pops. It plays really good example in today, as like Avon did back in the day. To me, T-shirts stand the test of time, whether you have a crappy shirt or whatever. Right. But the thing is, somebody will always like it. Now, do you have the stuff that it flexes? People always want to flex, and it's usually like a younger generation. So do you understand that mentality? You get the equipment and the psychology behind, like, how am I going to structure this as a, reputable item that is worthy of, forking down some money. So if I do that, I'm going to go to a pop-up.
Very serious question right here. Very serious question for you.
Never. I don't have time. This is how I source. This is how I make money.
You got to be always on it. You got to have passion, dedication.
Can I be honest? Dude, I probably slept 6 hours, like, all night. And then like the day before was 4 hours. So it's like, I'm on it, but there's times where I crash and you won't see me. But I'll tell you what, I never will run out of stuff. Like in my words, I'll never run out of good stuff to sell. So look at this.
What is that one? You can barely see it.
Let's focus on this. Let me see if I can.
Chill.
Oh, let's get this.
Chili cook-off? Is that what
there
it
is? Yeah, but look at the top.
Harley Davidson. Oh, is that a Harley
tag?
So
this is a rare one. People collect these Harley Davidsons. This is from Paris, Texas, which actually made a great movie called Paris, Texas. If you guys ever seen it. This is a great one because it's not just Texas, but it's got a lot of references to it. But this is a good one. This is going to go up for auction this week. So you guys check it out. I tell them what I do on Tuesday. Let me breathe.
So she says it's kind of awesome. He's super passionate, but damn, I would suffocate. yeah. So,
but I watched her. She's really chill. She's more of an observer. But you know what? Yes. I got to get stuff done. It's like we got to multitask. It's like
that's why naps are so important. You got that right, Jay.
Naps are extremely important. Check this one.
Oh, that's like a full print.
This is a full print. This is what they call an all over print. All over. So
that's a big size too.
This one. But look, it's still in the back. It's just different. So it's still got the peacock. This is what I mean by like flexing. There's kids out there, they want this kind of stuff. They want to be, you know, they want a peacock so they can get that girl, they can get that date, they can be flashy, make the next sale. But, you know, yeah. Plus, I always feel obligated when I'm on a channel. It's like I want to fit all the information in as I can. I'm here to like, what do you guys want to know?
All right, so I got some questions for you. Okay,
Let's hit it. Let's go.
What if for? Whoa, that's pretty dope too. So for some people like me, right, who don't really dabble into vintage t-shirts as much, what would be 3 key giveaways for me to know that that shirt is vintage or not?
You're asking how to identify, like when you say giveaway.
Yeah. Like if I go to like a Goodwill and just search through the racks, how do I know that if I'm looking at a vintage shirt? How do I know that?
Look always for, this is the same way I look for a book and to see if it's a reprint.
First, let's identify what is actually vintage. People have a different point of view of that.
Technically, vintage is just anything 20. It has to be exactly 20 years to the date back. But if it's antique, it's got to be exactly 100 years to this date of today back.
Kay's taking shots.
Yeah, she saw you taking a nap on that couch. Who were you talking to today?
Shots fired.
I would say one of the key factors that I always look for. Obviously, it sounds kind of cliche and normal, Paul. Bro, it's just like when you go and you ever look at an item, and you go, "Ooh, what's different about that? What's?" You know, it stands out. And sometimes, because there's a lot of fakes out there. Now, the same way I look at a t-shirt is the same way I look at a book. Is there provenance? Hey, number one, write this down. Like provenance, it's like you can find any dates, if you can find copyrights, it's like in details within that show the provenance. Like, so the newer shirts of today, they're all fake. They got like, let me see if I can find one, for example. When I say fake, I mean like they're reproduced. And so like this has a tag, like we talked about this. This has a tag, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's an older one because it's not a fat tag. This is just like a more modern day tag. But a lot of the new prints have they're tagless. They're the identifying marks and factors that will give you the provenance, which is, you know, it will stand out the test of time of like how much it's, you know, when it was made. So that, you know, will kind of like identify, is this, you know, more modern? Is this from the last 20 years? Is this only like less than 20 years? Then it's not vintage. I hate when I go on to like a website, whether it's Depop or Macari or eBay, and they write vintage shirts. I never even use that keyword vintage anymore. It's just, it's so played out because the trueness of vintage usually entails that there's a single stitch over here. Yeah. But there's modern shirts that like this is a modern shirt and it's a single stitch. But
I've seen someone on YouTube on eBay sell a vintage YouTube shirt before. I was like, YouTube hasn't been around for 20 years. How does this have a YouTube logo on it and it's vintage? And they just like assume like, oh, it's old. It's from 2010. It's vintage. Good point.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
How is, you know, because they hear this word. What I think is people are not conscious about this. So one of the other key factors to answer your question, Paul, look for identifying marks that set some precedence for date. The other thing is use your consciousness. Like people don't take things out of context and they go, oh yeah, there's that keyword vintage and this, everything. They look at the word vintage as if they're talking about a style. You're not describing a color. You're not describing like front hit, back hit. You're not talking about subjectivity. And so it's like, oh, that's vintage. No, that's nothing to do with vintage. They think all rock shirts are not vintage, but all rock shirts maybe like, you know, high end cost of goods and stuff. Like today, let me show you one I found. Okay, I paid up for this. Oh, actually, no. Did I not get this? Where'd it go? I'm gonna be sick if I don't have it in here. But I did buy a good one, and I think please let this be it. Ah, dude, I'm gonna be mad if they still have that. I gotta go find it. It's probably in the car. But I had a
so Def Pile
Insane Clown Posse shirt.
By the way, awesome name. He says less than 20 years retro, vintage 20 years or older, and then antique 50 years or older. Is that right?
I think Death Pile Destroyers, to my understanding, I'm not saying you're wrong, but to my understanding, it's got to be exactly 100 years or more to be considered antique. That's if you look up the definition in Webster's dictionary, that's fine.
But vintage is 20 years, and then retro is 20 years or less. I like that for that. And then he also said vintage T-shirt. Look for a single stitch. Look for a made in USA tag. Do you agree with that? Made in USA tag.
Say that last part again.
You said look for a single stitch and a made in USA tag.
Okay, that's a good one. So that's part of the provenance. Is it made in USA? You know, like stuff like that are key giveaways. But not all single stitch, Death Pile. No, this is a single. Let me see. Yeah, this is kind of like leaning on. This is like a single stitch, but it's got a modern day tag. Like if you look in the back, it's printed on the thing. It doesn't even have a tag, so it's tagless.
But that's why you try to always combine. Like, wait, single stitch, USA tag, provenance, all that stuff, subject matter.
So when I say provenance, like where's the history of it? Like, is that off of a Fruit of the Loom tag? You'll notice there's a big difference from the 2000 tags that they design. I'm talking about design of branding. So the branding is like, is this on a Hefty Tees, whatever the names that there are out there of different tags, And if you look at Fruit of the Loom, back in the 80s, they got so small and tiny, And sometimes a nice fade will give it away. And then you got this nice single stitch, and then you can tell it's really skinny and thin. More than likely, it's vintage. It's definitely vintage, It's like, but there's so many other factors you can look at. I would say another thing too is so part of the defining is knowing what is not. So like look for the fakes. No, it's like anything you buy, like are you buying a cheap knockoff? It's like there's so many bootleg of everything out there. I don't care what we're not even t-shirts, just things that you buy. What is single stitch? I failed this. So let me show her an example. I'd have to go run to the next room. Right. Speaking of which, now I'm really upset because I had a cool shirt I wanted to show you, but it's somewhere here. And so let me, here, maybe this is it. So I mean, to show her what a single stitch is, go and blow me up for a second. I'm going to show her what a double stitch is. So this is a double stitch. Am I coming in close up? Can you see it? See the two stitches?
Yep,
that's double stitch.
Yeah.
Back in the probably pre-99, usually generally, and it can vary. Depends on the company that makes the shirt. This is what they call a double stitch. You can see the double stitching, but on the outside, you can definitely see that there's two stitches on a vintage shirt. And if you want, I'll go get an example. But like that'll be just one straight across. Yeah. And usually it's even lower.
Yeah. It's all around. It's on the show. It's on the sleeve. It's on the bottom of it as well, right? You can
not always the bottom. I found early '90s, which more often than not will always have like single stitches up here. Sometimes, depending on, like I said, if it's a good quality concert shirt you paid for, sometimes they double stitch the bottom. But not to say they didn't have. They have. I've found vintage shirts, meaning pre-20 years. I mean, after 20 years or older, that were actually double stitched because that quality of shirt was a company that insisted. And there's a tag out there. It's called, like on here, like when you find the tag, if you find one called Liquid Blue, there's some 90s stuff, and they're really good stuff. It's like 25 years or 30 years, and they still have that. They have that double stitching on it. They were like a company that invested in the quality of shirts. Now, that being said, like you should be able to tell. Let's say the subject matter you're looking for, like Grateful Dead shirts, it's easy to tell a fake. For me, it is. It's easy to tell a fake from like a newer one. And generally, you can run something through the wash so many times, but if you're really good on designs, then you start noticing certain kind of like design color theory. You know that the design has a certain color, has certain pigments. Sometimes the printing is a little bit different. And it's also the way they print it. They have these printers today, and I'm trying to remember the name of them, but they print so differently now. They're crazy. Like I
feel like the vintage ones just pop more. It's just as simple as that.
As you said,
the peacock access of it. You just catches your attention way more than the shirts we have today.
It can. It definitely can. Yeah. Definitely.
So Veronica also says made in Hong Kong and West Germany could also indicate that they're vintage. Guess they made in Hong Kong.
Let's just talk about not t-shirts, but like I actually look for vintage shirts like
Hey,
Wrangler, Levi, and anything that came after the 80s. You remember them, like studying history. We're talking about history. If you study like history, then that's going to be like one of the key factors that'll bring your knowledge into how to identify what is considered vintage. I'm not talking about just T-shirts. Like that's a good example. Whoever wrote that, thank you for bringing that up, because
Veronica.
I brought up an issue with somebody. They were like, no, that's not vintage. I'm like, how can you say it's not? Because the post, I think it was 88. Whenever somebody look it up in the history, there's this embargo with a lot of like U.S. stuff going overseas, and we were having political issues in the late 80s into the 90s. A lot of that stuff went straight to Hong Kong, straight to Taiwan, and a couple other places. And if you see Hong Kong, it's usually a good sign, because there's like ball caps, especially if you buy like a trucker caps, if you're into like old school sports caps. If they, especially even if they don't say made in the USA, which generally entails it's probably an older version cap. Now they're like made in Honduras, they're made in Vietnam, they're made in like Mexico, and different. A lot of them, like the really cheapy brand ones, are made in China too. So those are not necessarily vintage, but so that's a good indication. Look for, that's part of the provenance, but like where it's made, it's just basically following the history. Like after the embargo in the 90s, it just went straight to Hong Kong and Taiwan for about 5 or 6 years or so.
This file said he sold some vintage bell-bottom jeans for $90 a couple of years ago. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how popular bell-bottoms are now, but
yeah. Cheryl says, what about popular bands and graphics that are printed on typically cheap t-shirt brands? They really throw her off. Can they sell for a lot or no?
Here's a good example. So Slayer, it's she said on cheapy shirts, or you mean just, or just popping kind of stuff like this. This is just put on like a regular crappy. Look at this. And by the way, here's another thing about the brands. Not just so much is it made in the USA or where it's made, but look at the old tags. Like, Hanes, there's Fruit of Loom, there's Hanes, there's all these other name brands of tags. But about by the 2000s, the tags started becoming more rectangular. Let me see if I can let me get the light. Okay, there it goes. So you got these tags that are like rectangle. And there's a reason they do that. They can write more about the quality of the brand, And in the back, they have more of this. Where's my thing at? Yeah, I'm not coming in real good.
It's really hard to focus on it, yeah. But people just you have to really just the size of it pretty much gives it away that it's
some
not.
of that sometimes size, because do you remember the quality back in the 90s? There's like these tags that were like doubled, and those things stood the test of time. So that's some of it. But like get a shirt like this, it to answer a question, it can vary. Like that's probably going to be like no more. If somebody really knows their shirts, they go, is that from the concert? No. Is that something you'd buy at a mall or store? Maybe, but if you're at the right place at the right time and you're able to sell it, and you're the only few people that got a hold of those, like Walmart right now is saturating the market with fake vintage baloney. When I say vintage, like they're trying to steal
Walmart
the throwbacks.
And Target. Like
Target's
so many
been
times
doing it for a while, but
I
Walmart
find like Nirvana or Guns N' Roses, and I look at it, it's like on a Target brand, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah. It's like now nobody wants to and it's sad because it makes a reputable brand of art, like music and stuff like that. It just like those who really respected and adored Nirvana are like so sick of seeing what Nirvana worked so hard to put that as a logo. And it's like, how many Metallica fakes have you seen out there? How many AC/DC fakes can you see out there? And it's not that they're fakes. I mean, like reproduction. That's why I call them repop. It's a it's a pop shirt and it's reproduced. It's just so much of it. It's basically, how much can they saturate the market so they can get their cut in revenue? And so I'm an artist by nature, and I like to create my own shirts. So sometimes I do designs on stuff.
Veronica has another good point. So store dates are also very helpful. And that's pretty much what you said with the prominence. Anytime you can find.
Yeah, but like the other day I went and picked up like a Johnny Cash. I think it was a Pink Floyd and an AC/DC. They had the tour dates on the back and everything. But come on.
Also repops?
They were repops. They were like 78. It's like, come on. Anyway, but you can tell because the printing on it, like you said, in some cases like that, they would have popped out. Even with a fade, the graphics would have been just sick and just like designed. So then
there's
I would say the other thing is look for integrity. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A lot of lovers of bell bottoms, by the way. We have at least 4 or 5 people who commented they love bell bottoms. So there you go.
Because I said I don't know if they're in fashion. I didn't say they were bad. I said I don't know how good. I don't deal in bell bottoms because in the 90s I got
Carrie
saturated.
upset them with Avon. Now you're upsetting them with bell bottoms, man. You're upsetting my audience.
I'm going to be booted out here quicker than
Dang, never mind then. See, I had no clue, Veronica, either. I had no clue that they do repops of tour shirts.
Well, repop's kind of a loose term I use.
What is that?
This is an all-over print, but this is not on cotton. It's on like this real sheeny kind of.
I could tell it's not vintage because there's saw down there, the bottom right, bottom left.
Saw's down here.
There you go. So I could tell it's not vintage.
But this is going to sell big time. I paid up for this, but this is going to sell big time. To anybody who likes horror and fashion, look, there's Jack Nicholson. For sure. But you know what? And you got to think, this is another thing, like as far as like resellers go. Oh, please let this be my shirt. I don't think it is, but thank you. Yes, I found the one. Now,
you bought so many, you lost them on the way in.
I lost them. No, I thought I did. I was going to get mad and go back. Where's that shirt? No, but this one I paid almost $20 for this, but I can definitely double my money. And if I get to the right market, which I do, I could probably triple it. But I'm not a big fan of them, but I know a lot of kids that are. You can blow me up. This is an insane clown posse. This is what I call so long story short, this is let me see if this is a front. Yeah, this is a front hit. Tell them what a front hit is.
It's the hit that they see when they're looking at you. So pretty much what's on the front.
So we got like these sick graphics, this and that.
Yeah.
People, this one you won't find. This is something you will not see.
Front hits are also very rare. Usually there's a huge back hit like there, but
this is a big back hit, and look at it.
That's pretty cool.
This is a rock band t-shirt. Now I looked hard. Here's the issue. How do I tell the provenance on this? One more thing I wanted to tell you is look at the design, look at the design, look at the design. Now, like somebody said, oh yeah, look for a lineup. It's not always a lineup. A lot of rock concert shirts. This is a rock group called Insane Clown Posse. They're a performance, like they'll dress up and they play their rock music. But it's sometimes on the designs, like down here, like a Harley shirt, there'll be dates sometimes, Not all Harley shirts have it, but if you can do that, you can tell, oh, this says 2002. Well, then you're on the cusp of being vintage, whatever.
Random comment, Louis. What do you think about blue eyeshadow?
I wouldn't know because I don't wear eyeshadow. Why is my eye blue? Like I got
I'm saying if a female's wearing blue eyeshadow, is that attractive or no?
Well, it depends what they're wearing. Like if they're wearing this Insane Clown Posse and it's all blue and stuff, heck yeah, it works. It's all about fashion, bro.
You came after Marcy from bell bottoms. She got hit for Avon, so she's like, "Are you gonna attack blue eyeshadow next?" That's what she's wondering.
Well, I'll tell you what. No, because fashion is fashion. I mean, I didn't attack. Why did she say I attacked them? Go back and rewind. I just said I don't know if they're in fashion. But
Sarcastic said he wore bell bottoms in the 70s. Except you took was whack, 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 whack.
Well, let's talk about it. Fashion is an extension of what? Of everybody's personality. Like what rock shirt I like, somebody may not get. Like, and so, but let me ask you this: when's the last time you've seen people wearing, bell bottoms on a regular basis? And you like admit it. The last thing I think we saw was when I saw Philly Phlipper, he was wearing skinny jeans like 5 years ago.
I will never in my life. You will never see me in those.
Oh, we already showed that.
You already saw that one.
Yeah, to me, it's like skinny jeans. Are they still a thing? I never understood my daughter. It's like 2 toothpicks walking. Oh, look at this one. You'll like this. So this was the deal of the day. I paid under $10 for this.
Should I know who that is? I should know who that is, right?
Yep. You know a group called Eagles?
Oh, I do. I love the Eagles.
This is Don Henley. He's one of the lead singers. He's still alive. Really? Yeah.
That's from 2000. That's vintage.
Dude, 2000. and it was called Inside Job, which was a song he had in the late 80s. Or his album was called that. So I don't know if you noticed this. So you'll know sometimes it's like a good indication. If you know the artist and you know them well, the name of their tour sometimes are a reference to what she said. Oh,
skinny jeans on Paul.
Oh, she liked that. But yeah.
Depends what they're wearing.
You should have seen him this morning at breakfast. Oh my gosh.
Depends on what
they're wearing. Yeah, I mean, like,
bell
bottoms,
subject. Keep the streets clean. That's what Ella said.
Oh, that's a Christopher now. So yeah, you saw this is just some stuff I literally picked up 2 hours ago before I came on the show. So
now, where do you go to find this? Do you go to thrift stores? Do you go to flea markets? Do you have private deals, or all three?
Yeah, no, not just three. I do private deals. I do, so to speak, my version of retail arbitrage is: can I get on OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook, go in and find it just as they post it? You got to be up almost. That's why I don't ever sleep. You know, it's like if you're not a hawk, you know what I mean? It's like, remember when Cameron was on today and he says, God, those people like vultures. Vultures are the ones that chase you and won't let you go until you give it up. It's like you going to find something at a garage sale and then somebody's like counting, hey, I want that. I want it. Sorry, buddy, you know. But it's all about, you know, you remember Matt Part-Time Picker? What is his slogan?
Got to be the first one there.
So my version of retail arbitrage, can I be the first one to find a deal? But I don't just go there. Here's my other tip: is go online and go to auctions of all kinds. There's probably about 1,000 auctions every hour of different kinds on Instagram. I read a statistic.
Wow.
You don't understand.
For vintage t-shirts.
Sorry, go ahead. No, not just t-shirts. Not just t-shirts. I'm talking about in
just
general.
Clothes.
No, I'm talking about people just doing auctions of all times. Jewelry, clothes, bell bottoms. A lot of bell bottoms. And then no.
Your name's about to be Bell Bottom Louie. About to give you a new nickname, man.
I like that nickname, Bell Bottom Louie.
Bell Bottom Louie.
My question is this: it's like, remember the Asian Buffett reseller?
Yeah.
How was he all of a sudden able to source on TikTok? He had people bringing stuff to him. So once you put your marketing skills to the test, Instagram is great. But he used TikTok. And it's funny is because people didn't know about his TikTok until he started posting it on Instagram. Then they went back and followed him on TikTok. And then they go, hey, you collect Pokemon cards? Here. I've had people do that with me, you know, like with t-shirts and other stuff. It's like anybody. Us as resellers, we talk about something. If you don't put yourself out there, marketing 101 that you learn in business is what? You know, learn to market. If you don't know how to market yourself, you just got to ask. I'd rather get like 20 no's and get one good yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for example, like I told you last week when I had that vintage Harley score, I try to go and get my card to the person. Today I bought someone who had a bunch of like these old like army figurines. And there's barely any they were selling, and she had 2 huge boxes. So I bought them all out from her, and I paid like $3 a box, and they sell for about $30 on eBay. And I gave her my card, and I said, hey, if you have any more, instead of waiting for yard sales for them to sell here, give me a call. And a lot of times we're like afraid to do it for some reason. I don't know why. Like if you're afraid to give your stranger a car or something.
What I've also done is when I'm giving them the card, I write a note then and there about something we said. Hey, I appreciated talking to you about, you know, hearing about your grandmother, you know, this and that, you know. By the way, if I can ever help you with business, you know, selling something, let me know. I'm here, you know. Reach out.
A lot of times we're afraid to say that this is for reselling. We always say, oh, this is for whatever. I just came to that point where, like, before I would be afraid to say that I was getting things from storage units when I was selling it. Now I'm not afraid to say that anymore. And I'm not afraid to say that I'm a reseller at the yard sales, because you never know what they have that they could be calling you in the future for. So it's definitely, as who said right here, JT.
I think
PJ,
so. I still
where
think
it's at.
so. Some people are shy about that and they don't know how to. I think some of it's they don't know how to. The thing is what are you and I doing right now? We're talking.
We're networking.
But in essence, we're really networking, meaning you and I are sharing knowledge with each other that can be fruitful in the future. But I'm pretty frugal about certain aspects of my knowledge, but I have nothing that I can hide other than like, don't ask me specifics about money and this and that. But if you want to know how to do it, I'm mentoring. Let me give you an example. I'm mentoring a young man that's probably, young enough to be my son, and he's like in his 20s. And he came to me, he says, "Teach me everything you know about t-shirts."
Wow.
And I said, "I'm a small fish. I don't know everything."
The desperate guy.
No, he was. I beg to differ, Paul. I don't think he was desperate. He was hungry. He was
desperate.
a mini shark. And let me tell you something. 1 year later, he comes back. This guy is killing it. He's selling shirts for $150 at a local college that's in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
It's a major college. It's a major university that's named after presidents and stuff. I mean, they have a presidential library there. So let me just say something. This kid knows his market. He's into sports. He knows how to network. He has probably like a few thousand on Instagram, but all he's got to do is do a shout out. People will come. Even if only 100 people came and he did it in there.
It's a huge market. 100 people is a lot of people.
And then his friends will do a shout out. Hey, come out. We're doing a pop up. Boom, boom, boom. You just get out of those 200 or 300 people that showed up, you get 45 to 75 people to buy something. You just had a good day.
Well, not me. Oh. So TJ's making you a bell-bottom Louis shirt, by the way, just so you're aware.
Why not? Hey, you want to hear something funny? I found, to me, it was like, I know there's going to be people, I'm not going to say who, there's going to be people in the live chat or anybody watching this. There's a term called shabby chic. In essence, that's what a concert shirt is. It's shabby, it's chic. And somebody Cameron brought up a good point today. Or was it Cameron or was it you? Somebody I was speaking to said.
Probably wasn't me. If it was a good point,
let me just put it like this. What's the difference between a reseller that buys like used clothes versus somebody who's rich and has money and buys used clothes?
What?
The reseller is somebody that usually doesn't have like a lot of finances and money, but they see the value in it. The rich person, when I say rich, somebody that's got a little more, they can afford it. Like somebody who's a little bit, well off. That's all I mean. That's when I say somebody who's well off will buy a rancid shirt with holes in it, and it's got this and that, and it's like a rare one of a kind Iron Maiden shirt that is an official shirt, but it's found at the thrift store, or it was found at the bins, or it was found at a yard sale. It is a thrifted item, but when they buy it, they call it what? They have a certain term for it. They call it, oh, this is chic, this is fashion, this is really hip. But it's almost like an identity. So the whole concept, I think, is your psychology as a reseller. If you don't start thinking like in terms of let them think that they're going to put it up on a higher level, I will be the person that curates it. I'm going to be the person that brings it to you. Call me your personal shopper. I don't care. But go ahead and pay 80% more than what I paid for it. Please. And so if there's like a negative connotation in there, I don't see it as negative. I look at it as fashion is so subjective. It's like any art. Your tastes are different from mine. But I'll tell you what, I found there's a term called shabby chic, and there's a whole reason I'm going full circle. Hey, good to see you. That's Early Bird. I don't know if you know. Do you know Early Bird?
Yeah. That's not Early Bird. That's Early Bird Picker. That's Rafa.
Oh,
different than Early Bird.
Yeah. No, not that one. No, I know it's not Oscar versus Early Bird Picker.
Yeah,
Rafa.
There's Oscar and then there's Rafa.
Yeah, correct.
A lot of birds out
I'm glad you met Oscar. Yeah, I know Rafa.
Yeah.
But
Oscar's in Houston? No,
Austin. He's here with me. He just called me
Austin.
today.
Yeah. He's where you are. Yep.
Then like
Rafa's
today,
in Oklahoma.
There's this. What's that?
Rafa's in Oklahoma, so he's kind of close to you as well.
Yeah. Well, we're still in the Southwest, wherever you want to call it.
Anyway, you were saying, sorry.
No.
I interrupted you. How dare I interrupt you in your own show? I apologize. Go ahead.
There's a first for everything. No, it's just like I'm passionate about this, Paul. This is who Louis is. I love what I do.
Wow.
Otherwise, why would I bother doing it? She's like, my favorite ever pick was 1997 Aerosmith. Bins.
So this is passports.
Wow, and that's only
pineapple.
97, and it had that many holes. But she said she marketed it as distress, and so yeah. Can I tell you something?
Good for you, pineapples and puzzles.
I bet you $5. That person who bought it from her for $5, I mean, bought it for $100, turned around and could have easily sold it for 250 to 300.
Really?
On an auction, but it has to be one. Remember, I told you there's a matrix of auctions going on right now as we speak.
What's up, 5 resellers?
Let me go look real quick. Let me tell you right now, and this is only who I know. But I talk to my friends. They go, "Oh no, there's 17," and I'm like, "What?" And I only know like about 8 of them. And they follow people who follow people. And there's guys, there's newbies, there's these guys that I just saw a T-shirt sell for 1.8K today. Yeah.
What was so special about it?
It was hip hop, but it was like DMX or something like that, and it was it was rare. But they have the audience, and they talk about it all the time. It's like it's hype. That people want to flex. They want to. I bought this shirt. I'll throw down that money. Boom, boom, boom. And some of them are people that collect, but some of them are people that actually wear it. Then you got your other people that are trying to snipe it, buy it, and resell it. So think about the marketability on this. You're not just selling to people that collect. You might be selling to another reseller. You might be selling to somebody who just generally wants to wear something. I would like to know that client that buys something that's over $1,000. I'll sell them anything every day, and I'll go pay $500 for it.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
So my thing is how can you, as a reseller, one of my business models is I will pay up like that Insane Clown Posse. I paid up, but I know I'm probably going to get close to. Actually, I think I'm going to get about $100 for it, and I didn't even pay half of that.
Yeah. So it's like DMX just passed away, so the market for him is definitely hot. So,
but it was more than that because I've seen some DMXs maybe 300, 400 at the most. Why would you pay 1,000, almost 2,000?
It's crazy. So she said Loveless Vintage sold the vintage Pikachu T-shirt for 1.3K a month ago.
Yeah,
that is crazy as well.
Yeah. See?
Wow, Pineapples and Puzzles. That's insane.
Pineapples and Puzzles. No, yeah. That's her new name.
Pineapples and Puzzles.
No, here. She brings up a good example, Paul. Like, know your topics, know your niches. Like Jen's Closet Gems out of San Antonio. She knows her Pokemon stuff. Like if I have stuff, I'm like, I have stacks and stacks and boxes of Pokemon cards. I probably can cash out right now, but I don't care about it. It's not my passion. I'd rather go find a Grail T-shirt. I don't love anything that much. Me neither. I like that she says that. There's a guy named I follow. Let me give you guys an example. If you want to watch him, just say, "What's this thing about the T-shirt game?" Watch Afro Vintage. He's a small fish guy, but he's so cool. He's about my age. That's a funny thing. All the kids that I watch are like young, like in their 20s and 30s, and they're flexing and they're like selling for big bucks. This guy for vintage, you can go on there and actually buy a vintage shirt and maybe if you're lucky, get out of there with 40, 45 bucks for something that you buy or something you can flip. And to me, that's a high low price. You know what I mean? Or low high price.
All right. So Cheryl's wondering what percentage of your inventory is clothing?
Right now, probably about 50%.
Oh, that's it?
Maybe 60.
I thought you were gonna say like 70 or 80 at least.
No, because
what's the other part of it? I guess you have clothing. What is that word? Ephemera. You probably have a good amount of that, right?
A ton of ephemera. I have. Do you know what a flat file is?
No.
A flat file is like the architect flat file. They're really long and big. And they put like long posters. You could put art prints.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
You pull the door out, and like I have a 5-file system I brought all the way from New York City. I got it in New York City, and I had it in Queens, and I was dealing art for a while. I've sold art pieces for quite a bit. I'm not going to talk about how much, but like up there, up in the thousands. I was able to find the artists, buy the prints, and invest in them for maybe no more than 2 years. My goal was 6 months to a year, and then flip them, and I would do good, especially when I would know what artist was coming up, and I would meet them. I'd have them sign it. I'd buy the stuff and stack it, and then I would get into like parties and meet. Yeah, I know that person. I got their prints. How much? How much do you want for that? No, it's not for sale. Yeah, it is. I got 5,000. Okay, go ahead. You can have it. And I paid, pennies on the dollar. So But that's a whole different market. That's a market. Like you got to be in circles.
So you have T-shirts, ephemera. Or what else do you sell?
And I include books are part of ephemera. And then, you know what? It really can vary. Like, I don't know. You know, I have such a wide variety. Like then it drops down into like percentages of less than 10. Like I got probably like 10% of tools, stuff that I'm familiar with that I can sell, all good craftsman stuff. You know, I have. I like. Let me put it this way. I like probably about 1/3 of my stuff is practical stuff. Practical stuff meaning anything that'll sell quick.
There he
He's
is.
jealous.
Speaking of Cameron, Cameron, Louis couldn't keep your name out of his mouth today. He kept giving you compliments the whole show.
Hey, he's a nice
should have
guy.
been here.
Don't be
Speaking of
jealous.
troublemakers, look at this have to show up as well. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. They think they're cool now.
Hold it up. Hold them up. You guys, this Monday, these two are going to be on the Mindful Merchants.
That's actually a good segue. I want to talk about mindful merchants. Let me know more about that show. How is that different than most of the other like YouTube interview shows?
Thank you for asking.
What is Mindful Merchants all about? And how many words is Luis going to say this Monday?
He's getting better. I'm getting him out of his shy thing. Let me tell you something. You guys underestimate and you pick on, but by saying that you're picking on Luis because Luis
we're not picking on Luis. We're picking on you.
By saying that he doesn't
let him
speak,
talk.
You don't understand. That's part of Luis's persona. When Luis talks, Luis has something to say, and he's really sharp.
Did you guys start counting how many words I said this interview?
Actually, that's the funny thing. It's like Luis is typing me messages. He's keeping an eye on the chat. He's kicking out trolls, and Luis does ask good questions. So, but. The whole thing was I told him, I said, when we started the show, I said,
Amy's
he was kind of like,
happy 21, Amy. I forgot that. Amy's birthday.
Not 21. She's 22. We know that.
She's 21.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Amy.
Happy birthday.
Anyway, so sorry, Mindful Merchants. Why should everybody be watching Mindful Merchants every single Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern? Why would we be watching that?
Can I answer that question?
Yes.
No.
No.
I just
we shouldn't be watching it.
No. What I was gonna say is it's not a should. It's not a matter of should. But I will say, can I explain something? One of the reasons I did start this program, honestly, all joking aside, Paul, I really do appreciate you asking this. So, my really, let me just go into this. There was an intention behind it. I thought about this for a long time. And once I started, probably like the year prior to, which was, so we're in 2021, right? So about 2019, 2018, I was watching some of these reseller shows. And we know, I don't like to use that term, but the godfathers, meaning the guys that started the whole reseller thing. And everybody like goes crazy, like, oh, I can do this. I can, whether it's the Cincinnati picker or whatever, whoever your favorite is. I started watching it, but then I started watching like the increase in numerics of like, oh, look at this. We went from like hundreds to now like we got thousands of resellers out there that want to do this. Why? Because we're almost repeating some of the same vernacular. We're repeating some of the information, which is good. Hey, how you doing, so and what I would say to that, Paul, my main intention was, okay, we're going to be out there and first and foremost in front. And a lot of us, we say some crass stuff, we joke, and sometimes we kind of step over a boundary and we don't mean to. And whether we want to be, I like to use the term brutally honest with yourself. Okay, today I stuck my foot in my mouth. I probably shouldn't have said that on the line. How can you be a little more mindful? But not even on that level. Let's go to another level. Let's say you're making content, but what are you making that content for? Know your audience. If you're able to cuss and this and that, and you don't give a crap, and and your content is about this, then you're only going to reach this much of an audience. If you have an audience where you're just trying to keep it general and vague, and just for a kind of an all-around circle of people, then just know your audience and stuff. So how can you be a little more mindful? And really, the word mindfulness has, if you use a synonym, think of the word awareness. You know, if you're mindful, then you're aware of your environment, you're aware of what you're doing. And then back to what I said, what is your intention for, coming on and making content? And let alone if we're a reseller, what is your intention for coming on and making content about reselling?
Yeah.
You know, so that being said, this not only gives a platform to showcase a new reseller, an old reseller. I like to bring on new ones as well as old. And it's not that, I don't know if you've seen, we've had a variety. We had one guy that's really popular on Netflix. He's a really good guy. The guy's a shark.
On Netflix?
He's a shark. What's that?
He's popular on Netflix?
Yeah, he has his own show, dude. Yeah. Look on our playlist. His name is Slobby Robbie. The guy owns 3 businesses. He's a multi-millionaire.
I have to watch that interview. That's probably before my time.
Well,
Okay.
Here's the thing. Watch the interview and then watch the show. People go, they don't like because he's got a grill in his teeth. He's got tattoos up his neck, his arm, his knuckles. And it turns out I broke it down in 2 seconds. He's an artist. He went to school and this is the smartness of this guy. He owns a business in the same town he went to school and where he grew up. In high school right next to it. And the other side, it's in Tucson, Arizona. This guy's brilliant. He cornered his own market and he's selling vintage shirts, vintage kicks, pop culture stuff that we love.
Slobby Robbie, that's his name?
Well, the show is called, for example, I guess we're taking a turn of giving him a little promo here, but it's just, look it up on Netflix.
Do you not want to give, we can stop if you don't want to give him a promo.
It's Slobby's World. It's called Slobby's World. Go check it out. So, but going back to Mindful Merchants, we want anybody, like from the guy like Asian Bucket Resell. This kid is brilliant.
Yeah.
Who the hell thought about coming on and, think about these things? And so I want to give a platform that how can you be mindful in your mental strategies to be a better reseller? Why not talk more about that? But here's something. The other integrity aspect of the show, and we stand on 2 legs, mental strategies and mental well-being. We don't like to talk about mental well-being. We work in a market, Paul, and you and I have talked about this, both in private and in public, is that we are resellers. We are subject to, a lot of things, scrutiny of just working alone. Why do you think we come on, if we're brutally honest, we come on YouTube because we're easily entertained, but we also want to learn. And I think it's more than that. The integrity is we want to make connections like this. So
now,
I think
what would be like your like unicorn guest, like that, like pie in the sky that we think we're killing a Mindful Merchant?
I don't look at it like that. I'll be honest, bro. Like I looked at Slobby Robbie as like, really, you know what? And Luis was like, listen, I worked hard to get this guy. I said, it's not that. No, I'm happy to have him. I'm like, it's not that I don't want, but I'm like, how are we gonna fit him in here? And then I went, so he's like, watch some of the shows. So I did my research and I went, this guy's a fucking brilliant, excuse my language, he's a brilliant strategist. Like this guy knows his market. And then when I went, no kidding, he's a visual artist who gets this. He sells knockoffs of Gucci and Versace and like you name it. And the kids will buy it. But get this, he knows the market. He knows that in Hollywood, there's these big posh musician, rock stars, hip hop artists, fashionistas, they wear this stuff. So why do you think as a resellers, we're able to even sell knockoffs? You know what I mean? Like Slayer shirts that I just showed you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. People need to have an image. People need to have a voice. Sometimes people don't speak verbally like me, where I go on a mile a minute. Some people just want to like flash out, like I said, flex. You know?
And that's the beautiful part about this whole recent community is that everybody is different too. And like,
yeah, thank you.
If they're into what Louis produces, you can go watch Louis' channel. If you want something who's more mild tempered but has also good content, go to Louis's channel. You know, and so it's a completely different like personality of people, but the content is still awesome everywhere. Cheryl's wondering, what do you think about big time reseller YouTubers? Cheryl,
I enjoy them. There's a lot out there I enjoy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Paul. What you say?
I would need her to define what big time means. Like, what do we consider big time?
I'm gonna assume that I know what Cheryl. I'm gonna go ahead. Can I go ahead and entertain Cheryl's question? Yeah. I'm not gonna play stupid. Okay. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna be brutally honest. Like you know me. I think I want to. You ask me who is Louis. I'm probably gonna try to be. I'm not always going to say that I'm going to tell you everything I know, but
Yeah.
I will be like 80% direct, and I'll be honest with you, and I'll try to do it with integrity and loving compassion. But if you piss me off, or if you step over boundaries, I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna tell you, hey, you're not being cool. You're being rude to a little fish that you think you're better. So I always say, if you want to call them big time, that's fine. I look at them as, we don't know these people. We don't know what struggles they're going through. We don't know how hard they work to get there.
Yeah.
And some of them, I hate when somebody comes up and says that person's fake or that person's not genuine. Or, we don't know nothing, because everybody has a different personality. And I get it from a business perspective. If you're smart and you don't have time to waste, Paul, you're direct. You're like short and sweet. And it's not that you're pushing out small people like, hey, I don't have time for you. But I know there's guys like that. And it's not that they mean to be rude, but that's why they'll come on and do lives once in a while. But you can't say hi. If you're a big fish like this and you got 10,000 or more, and I know we had a guest on there that had like 200,000 or 300,000, 100,000, and they were nice enough to give us our time, and they agreed on a couple of stipulations. One was, don't ask them about their money, and the other was, let's just talk about the business, and that's really what it was about. There's a genuine curiosity, I think, that a big fish, if you want to call them that, or a small, I don't even look at them as big time. That's why I said, so mindful merchants, even go back to your question, mindful merchants is a level playing field. Luis said this on the show himself without me even invoking it. But Luis and I have also had private conversations. The thing is, this platform is for everybody. Anybody that wants to come on the show. Granted, providing we can schedule. So, but we want to talk about it all.
Yeah, and that's what I'd like to do about my show too. Before I was very intimidated to ask the bigger fish, but when you look at them just as human beings, not content creators, there's not really much difference between me and whatever the 100K subscriber people of the world.
It's about this. It's about this. Can you ask somebody for me? I was nervous as heck when I had Christopher Daily Refinement, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't wasting his time.
Yeah.
And when I emailed him, he said yes right away, because he knew what my intention was. He knew that I wasn't there to piss off his time and ask stupid questions. And he knew that I had a genuine curiosity, and that I was there to include him in a platform that was to reach everybody, because he's also selling himself, but he's selling his brand. So you got to respect that. So somebody that takes time out of their busy schedule, this guy's making 6 figures. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah,
okay, I admire that. Let me go invite us on the show, but let's not just talk about that. Let's talk about mental well-being.
Yeah.
How do you avoid, eating crappy food so you have a healthy diet so you can, have better energy, take care of yourself? How do you keep out negative thoughts so that you're always maintaining your focus, and how do you elevate as a reseller? I'm very curious about those things. So if you're not mindful about this, why are you in the game? What are you here for? What is your intention? Let's not dick around. Somebody joked him and why are you going so fast? This is how I source. I go 24/7. I lived in New York. If you don't wake up early, you don't get crap. And if you don't work your ass off, you're not getting shit. So
the same way in Philly, bro. It's a very Northeast mentality. I think it's how it is.
You either hustle or you drown with the sharks.
Yeah. A cheap fine says transparency is key. If you don't piss a few people off, you aren't being genuine.
Well, that's what I mean. When I have them on, I want to be as transparent, but I may come off as hey, how you doing? We're welcome. I do care. I really give a crap. But I also want to be personable, where you can see my personality come up, and I'm tongue in cheek, and I'll joke. Maybe like this morning when you were eating breakfast, I was poking fun with and
I could handle it.
But but I knew a little bit about you that I went, he's not going to take it personal. He knows, but I'll know when I drew the fine line, because I don't want to go there, But the thing is, can you do that with an edge of seriousness with somebody that you're doing business with? Serious. If you're doing, let me put it this way. If you're not going to show, somebody brought up the word transparency. If you're not going to show how transparent you are as a businessman, and let me tell you something, Texas business people are savages. They are ruthless. They'll see a fake in a minute. I'm telling you, if you want to do a business with an oil man, forget it. You better be forthright, honest, and then you better not bullshit and have the money.
Yeah.
Let's do the capital. Let's have the thing. Where's the contract? Let's do this legal. They're like, don't pull any punches. Let's do business. I cleared out an estate sale once because I told the guy, I said, where's your contract? He's like, oh, I don't get a contract. The people that are doing the estate sale, I'm like, okay. And he's like, what's the matter? And I was like, it's not my business. That's yours. And he's like, no, I want you to tell me. So I told him, I said, I wouldn't do it. You don't know how much they're going to screw you. You don't know if they're going to sell to their buddy and make a cut and get a better deal. Are they selling your stuff, with integrity? How are they treating you? And he's like, those are a lot of good questions. I didn't think of that. And I said, you have to think of it. This is your personal property, and he's like, well, why don't you do it for me? I said, I don't have the time or money. He said, I'll wait 2 months and then we'll do it. Will you commit to it? And I went, yeah, I'll have a clearing space. And I said, I'll do it in a month. And he's like, okay, you got the contract. And I was like, wow. Just because, and because
we're transparent.
Well, you can't bullshit people. You either know a liar or you don't.
Goes back to what we said before at yard sales. Just be transparent about what you're doing with them. Don't say I'm collecting all this weird stuff from you. Like, just say, hey, I make money out of this. This is how I do.
I will say this much. There is now. I will say this much, and you're right about that. There is this. What's the antithesis? What's the opposite of like transparency? Where you're being plastic, right?
Or being fake.
You're fake. That's what I mean by plastic. Plastic moves, whatever. Plastic mentality. If you come in the playing field and you're like, hey, this is that, and there's a T-shirt rat this is what I mean by like they're being a vulture. Like Cameron talked about this today. Somebody will come up and like, hey, how much do you want for that? And they want to give you $50, which sounds like a lot of money, but they're going to flip it for $500. That's not transparent. Their intention for getting something is to be like one up over you. And it's like, no, and so it's a harsh world. Business can be really doggy dog, but also like you can say, hey, you don't have to tell them like every single detail, but say, hey, I do resell stuff. I am also a collector. What percentage are you? 10%, because I don't like to collect a lot of stuff. I like to resell stuff. There's nothing like somebody said earlier, like there's nothing that, is worth like keeping on that long. You can't take it with you, die.
I got an interesting question here from Cheryl. Said, if you were over 200K subbies, like Crazy Limp Lady who has a big brand, would you still be sourcing and selling at the same rate that you do now? To be honest, I have no clue.
Probably not as much, but yes,
probably not as much as
my personality. I would source, but can answer the question. I would source, yes, but in a whole different way. I would have people bringing stuff to me. I wouldn't be going outsourcing as much. I'm not to say where I get a phone call, hey, dude, boom, I know you got the capital. You got $10,000 put up for this warehouse of T-shirts. They're vintage Willie Nelsons. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, can I tell you a story?
You already told me, but you can tell them now.
Oh, did I tell you about the Willie Nelson story?
Oh, last Sunday, right? You met the chef or something, right?
Short, this guy has probably Willie Nelson shirts that he knows of a lady whose husband he used to work with. This guy worked for Willie Nelson like either 30 or 40 years, something like that, and he was the cook of Willie Nelson, passed away. The wife has all these T-shirts that he's collected probably for the last 30 years of every concert that Willie Nelson was in, probably dating back to like the 70s. And I'm thinking, how do you make that happen? I was honest. I said, listen, yeah, I'm a collector, but I'm also a historian. I'd hate to see these things go awry. If you have anything in there that could dry rot, which is true, would you want to see that, happen? So I was just planting seeds in his head. And I said, listen, I'm going to be honest. I just want to see him. She doesn't have to sell him. He's like, no, she's going to give him, I don't, I mean, back to the question. So she was asking, like, would I source in that way? I mean, doing deals, I think is like, I've read so many books on business, and especially from Texas businessmen, they're ruthless. They will do what they need to do. They'll even find out about people's friends and families to get in, cut in the deal. But I'm talking that's millions of dollars. I'm not like that.
Yeah, I just feel like the hustle mentality you have is not going to go away if you hit 100K, 200K subs.
I just want to go on a higher level.
It's going to just like transform to something different. Like you're still going to hustle, but it's going to be probably not going to be every day on the flea markets, selling stuff there. But you're probably going to be doing something completely different with the subs that you have, and you will still continue to flip things. It's just a different grind.
It's a good point.
But the mentality that you have is there. If you have 500 subs, if you have 1,000 subs, if you have 1,000,000 subs, it's just the mentality you have there is going to be the same. It's not going to switch.
I mean, like part of leveling up is if I ever got that high. Let me put it this way: it'd have more to do with like the gentleman said, I have enough to pay my rent here. That's wonderful. If I can get to that level where I can just pay my car insurance, pay my electric bill, pay this and get better like internet connection, then I'm going all forward. Let's go all in. After that, you can level up in a way where like, okay, those things are taken care of. I don't have to work as hard on this aspect. Like I'll probably go down to 10%, 20% of like whether it's eBay or this or that. But if I have like a grail that I know is, and I sold like an art piece I found for $1. It was about this big, and it turns out I looked up the artist because he engraved his name at the bottom as a glass head by a Toltec culture, which is a Mexican culture. And it turns out he's a Mexican architect, internationally renowned. He's known in Europe. He's known all over the world. And I looked that name up. I did my research for 2 days, sold it for $175. I had it listed for a little over $300, and it went to San Antonio. So it's really like, what is it you're trying to sell? What are you trying to market? I mean, think about $1 versus, almost close to a couple $100. That's, 10,000 something percent, return on investment,
For sure.
So if I can do bigger investments, yes, I would take better risks. I would take more capital risks in a way that I know that like I would be the guy that would buy somebody else out. I would buy a collector out in a heartbeat. Like, oh, you're a reseller? Yeah. Let me just buy your whole collection. I saw that happen. I'm not joking. Now, whether this was staged and it was mocked, I don't know from behind the scenes. But there was 4 guys on Instagram. You want to hear this? 4 guys with 4 windows like you and me, but there's 2 more. And they were doing what they call a blind bid. You know what a blind bid is?
You bid before seeing the item, I would guess.
Yes, you do. They call it's a form of auction where you blind bid, and you basically there's the live chat will be going. Goes, okay, we got 10 seconds. We're going to close the blind bidding down, and usually it's when the resellers, those 4 resellers, see, ooh, let's stop there. I'll take that. Like I've seen guys throw down $200 or $300. Like, what are you going to offer? Then the 4 guys will go, okay, this is where they come in. They're flexing. I got this. This is a 1970s blah, blah, blah Versace shirt. You'll never find it. It was a limited edition. Boom. Then they'll show this shirt. This is a rock shirt from, whatever. Ozzy Osbourne, 1982. And then they'll show all this stuff, like depending on how much they get. The other day I threw in a blind bid for $50. And I got this like really vintage Bruce Lee and this other vintage shirt that was a single stitch. Now, I got a 2-for-1 when everybody else was offering me 1 shirt. This one guy wanted this deal, and it wasn't as good as some of the other stuff I saw. Like I saw Rolling Stones, I saw an Aerosmith, I saw a black metal T-shirt. I would have had to work harder to sell one of those than if I were to get those other 2.
Yeah.
Because I know my market, like Bruce Lee, boom, like that, and it's an all-over print, So I was like,
Rafa has a question about dry rot. What's the best tip to prevent that?
So let's say you have a bunch, mostly dry rot. The majority of them will be black shirts or color shirts that are of non-white shirts, and it has a lot to do with the ink inside the fiber of like the cotton. So what happens is, you ever notice shirts once you wash them, they get softer and they get really nice and flexible, and they just better form fitting, as opposed to when you ever put on a new shirt without washing it. If that sits like that, it's a dry stock. I mean a dead stock, and it's a dead stock T-shirt, and it's been like 20, 30 years old. If it sits in the closet, the chances are mold and the temperatures will play a part in how that ink interacts with the fiber. And what happens is dry rot is just like you pull the fiber, and it's almost like cheesecloth. You hear it go. It's shot. It's not, you can't put it on without it actually starting to rip and tear. So the integrity, a lot of it has to do with the environment. So that's why, like, when you have stuff you pull out of storage lockers and stuff like that, woo, check for dry rot. It can be because of humidity, and then all of a sudden you get like a dry spell, and it just messes up the shirts. But it's usually just more to do with how the ink's settling without ever being washed. And at one point, the integrity of that shirt needs to be, it's made to be worn. The chemicals in that shirt, from the way it was, made to be a black shirt. Shirts are not just naturally black or blue or whatever color, red. They are dyed. And those dyes over time will, basically it's chemical compositions interacting with the environment, and it turns into dry rot. Can over time.
So by the best way to prevent it is just to keep it just washing it, or like keep it in like a climate controlled area, or.
Well, let me put it this way. Let's say, so there's a video out there. I don't want to name names, but they found about $100,000 worth of vintage shirts that were. Did I tell you about this? They were $100,000 of Grateful Dead T-shirts. Luckily, those shirts were made mostly on white, but they were a company that's licensed to make those. Are called Liquid Blue. If you find the Liquid Blue, find them with a tag, not the ones that are printed on the neck. This Liquid Blue still makes them, but they found this stuff, and they had to check every single shirt. There was probably about a few in there that was usually the black shirt they were pulling apart, and they sat in that storage for like 30 years from all the concerts back. It was a roadie. He sold these. He was the guy in charge of selling the T-shirts, and they just sat in there, and that was it.
Wow. All right, so we already, guys, 15 minutes over. That's what happens when Louis gets on the show. But so we're gonna end the broadcast here. Thank you guys for sticking around for 15 minutes extra. Appreciate it. Before we leave, Louis, you want to plug your channel, Mindful Merchants, your auction, anything else you want to plug? Go ahead.
Thanks, appreciate it. I am really, I would say I'm a newbie content creator, and I say that because my technical skills are, in terms of just being able to do my content, is just lazy. I mean, I got a phone and I do it, and I'm trying to get out there, and I just not the guy that like, hey, look what I found. This is what I did. I'd rather go in live, and I think for me, I guess somebody accused me, like, are you a live guy? Or are you a content creator where you make stuff? And I would do both, but I don't have time to sit there and edit a lot of videos and this and that. And when I do, I don't like the style of it. And I'm still trying to figure that aspect out. But if I can go on live, I can share my information and knowledge. So, that's kind of who I am and what I'm about. Mindful Merchants.
I definitely feel like the information you have is better presented in a live than like when you're trying to record something. You have so much info. It's way more better presented in a live format.
And I appreciate, by the way, thanks for having me on, Paul. And I appreciate having a dialogue, because I think it really is subject. What is it you want to know? I'm there to share. It's like the kid that I mentored for about the last year. He just wanted to know the basic facts. Where do I start? How do I do this? So I think there's a great, unanimity. I can never say that word. Like there's this, big collective of us, a collective consciousness of resellers. And one of the best platforms is YouTube, but don't neglect Instagram. So I'm on Instagram. I'm very active there. If you please subscribe to my Instagram, because I will tell you about when I have this show with my co-host, Cali Reseller Luis. We do this every Monday. One day it's on, Monday it's on his channel, and one day it's on mine. We decided we'd like to take turns, share hours, but really it's about the other thing I forgot to tell you, Paul, was Mindful Merchants is more of a service for this community as resellers. It's not about us. It's about what can be given back to you guys, whether it's knowledge or just fair play of dialogue. About we're human, we all have issues, we're all different, like you said. And so, and then we got I do auctions on Tuesday night with Kelly Reseller Luis. Come find some fire deals. I have a lot of T-shirts.
Guys, we're gonna close this off in a minute. Thank you, Johnny, for starting it off. Those of you guys who want to promote something, definitely you guys should drop your links. I think I made you guys all mods. If anyone's not a mod, just let me know. But definitely, I want this show to be not just like, hey, I'm talking to the people, blah, blah, blah. I also want you guys to be aware of each other. Like, for example, Death Pile Destroyers. First time I saw you here, please drop your link. I would love to go and follow your channel because I've never seen you before. Stuff like Johnny has awesome content. Drop your link, Johnny. Sarcastic has awesome content about storage units. Early Bird Picker, Rafa has awesome content about Facebook Marketplace. You guys all have different niches that I think people who are watching here would love to get to know. So like during the last couple minutes, make sure you guys drop all your links, and then if you go sub to everybody, guys. It's really easy to sub somebody. Then if you don't like what they provide, it's really easy to unsub to somebody. So it's very easy to sub and unsub. But I would always say give everybody a chance before you do that. But
there's so much knowledge out there. Like I love that somebody brought up. There's a dry rot, and it turns out Rally Roots did it. There's anything you want to learn or know, go on YouTube, and it doesn't have to be reseller related. Find something you enjoy, and just puzzles. Share that knowledge. What is?
She said pineapples and puzzles. That's our channel. Here we go. Here's Ella. Ella's always so much fun, guys. Definitely it's up to Ella.
Yeah.
It's up to pineapples, guys. It's up to Toilet Girl. Great share, great banter. We'll go back to the replay for what I missed. Awesome. Thank you so much, Donald. Yeah, guys. So, he has his own website. I didn't even know that. So, I want to thank Carrie, who's been here earlier. Louis, always a pleasure to have you on. Louis, Mindful Merchants, 4 p.m. Eastern with cheap finds and gold mines. Definitely guys check it out. Thank you guys all for coming. As always, we'll see you guys next week, where I have Jarhead Entrepreneur and then Steve with Brick House Salvage and Antiques. So it should be another 2 awesome guys to interview. But that's gonna be it for me, guys. It for me, it for Carrie, it for Louis.